This is Instagram. At Perry Caravello, after 3 failed 1992 story attempts, we have no choice but to permanently delete your account. This is irreversible.
Crazy, delete my account? Are you serious? They're gonna delete my account now? Good night. We're done. I can't deal with this anymore. They can't delete my account. I didn't do anything wrong. Liars. Good night. We're done. Ciao. I'm not telling them the 92 story has been retired. Thank you. Over and out. Bye.
Attention PCL fans, the stream will continue after a quick performance by the Scare Master himself, aka
Scary Perry Caravello. I hail from Chi-Town, so you know I'm a good
Fun fact, that crap rap set Perry back
500 bones.
In 1992, a penny saver had Perry working harder than he's ever had.
What?
He'll do anything for fame, including that. Perry blew Randy, and that is a fact.
Block that jag off. That was a jerk off, not a blow job. You're not allowed in my apartment with blood stains on the carpet. That was a long time ago. But you know, I could not become a star if he did not come so far. Stop! Collaborate. Look, listen, very bad. Which reinvention. Sometimes love isn't enough. It takes time, hard work, and a little bit of the best things in my life are free, like my streams, my dignity, and the MVP. TomB.
Thanks.
Dark Side Phil. Keep begging, asshole. Dipshit Phil. He's going down.
Who the fuck is Perry Caravello?
Don't back dumb, you lying clown. Get the fuck away from my patio. Get the fuck away from my chair.
I'm so confused.
You suck.
Kinda like you did it in 92?
Shut up.
In 1992, a penny saver had Perry working harder than he's ever had. He'll do anything for fame, including that. Perry blew Randy, and that is a fact.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck. Fuck yeah, fuck off. I don't want this schmuck to steal any more dough.
Perry, enough!
What now?
I got an offer. Oops. Pay attention.
$19.92. Microwave credenza 666.
Block him, block him, block him, block him. I never said hail Satan.
Look here, listen, lose the tattoo. You're not a snowboarder out there. You
I'm not removing my tattoo, tough shit. Shut up, you son of a bitch.
ha ha. The stream is getting hacked. I really hope Perry doesn't hurry back. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha.
In 1992, a penny saver had Perry working harder than he's ever had. He'll do anything for fame, including that. Perry blew Randy, and that's a fact.
I ain't going away.
By the way, did you guys catch at the end when he, he wasn't rage quitting at all, but he ran away, and the first thing he did was run into his dining area to check his phone to see if Instagram was still running. So, man's got a problem. Man's got a serious problem, and I wonder. Yeah, I'll monitor his account. It's so bad. Oh, here's the picture he sent to Jennifer Aniston. Oh my god. I gotta say, I said this to Jim earlier. This, once in a while I have a stream where I just feel like I'm just completely spent, and I had a long day as it was because I had no power and everything. And I said to Jim, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And not to sound like Perry, like I'm done, I'm quitting, but for a long stretch of tonight, I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like, I had to battle him like nobody's business tonight. And, you know, it's whatever. By the way, nobody feel obligated to listen to me ramble here. The stream's over. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on for. Not that long, but, you know, whatever. So, Jim, Garrett, please get some sleep. I know it's late. Don't feel obligated to hang out. Thanks for responding to my DM on Instagram, Tom. Oh, you're welcome. I don't know. There were so many people, by the way, that when I was talking about looking at Perry's Instagram, all of a sudden, like, people started writing, like, "Hey, Tom, how are you? Hey, Tom, you know, how you doing?" So, yeah, somebody says, "I'm exhausted even watching." Yeah, it's just, Soviet Code says he's fucked. He's addicted to the lies. He refuses to accept it. He fights his own brain to keep this 3-year-long dream alive. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like if anybody ever, I know the show went off the rails, but the first season of HBO's Westworld was really good, and I got to go back in my brain because it's been a number of years since I saw it, but wasn't it the thing where they have the robots in Westworld, right? And I think they were called hosts, not androids, but hosts. And one of the rules of the hosts is that they can't acknowledge their own reality. Like they can literally pick up a piece of paper and it will say, "You are a robot. You are a host. Everything around you is fabricated." And they'll see a blank page. Like, that's like from the show. And I think Perry's like a host from Westworld. Like, he refuses to accept certain things that he wants to believe. And you can tell him getting really angry when logic is interjected. He's on Instagram right now. Like, he's talking to some fake girl right now. Maybe that's one of you. There's this girl on her... is this Britney Spears? Real Britney. He's like, "Effing crazy stream tonight. These mother effers want to drive me crazy." Like, he's right back on Instagram right now. Jim PCL, which is Joey, by the way, was so busy for 4 straight hours tonight, and then Perry was defiant and off the chain. Yeah, and it's just crazy, you know, and I have to, like, really battle him to just keep on his game, you know. I mean, this is, how long have we been on now? Jesus, it's 4 a.m. East Coast time, so it's like 8.5 hours, because we started a little late because of my power hour, but at least 8.5 to 9 hours straight. There's no way he'd be able to do this. And what I said earlier, it really does take an army to keep him interesting and, you know, engaged. And, you know, because if it was up to Perry, it would be, you know, he wouldn't do any of it. He'd just shut down, you know. And I know sometimes I sometimes, like, you know, I know I talked a lot on this stream, more than I have in recent times, but a lot of it was, you know, the software was glitching like crazy, and then I'm trying to fix that. So to do that, I kind of filibuster a little bit. I can't rely on him, because sometimes there'll be like long periods of silence in between like comments or whatever, and he'll just sit there and he'll be like, "Okay, what's next?" And God forbid he can just say anything. And then I got to jump in and, like, you know, talk to him about something, or we did the Cameo game because the thing was glitching, and I had to, like, you know, I'm trying to, like, multitask and fix it. You know, I'm not trying to deliberately make the stream longer. You know, and I fall into a trap too sometimes where I'll mess up and I'll be directing him in his earpiece, and sometimes that comes over the air, and that's not me, like, giving him lines. That's me, like, trying to start. You ever see The Karate Kid, where Daniel and his mother are trying to, like, jumpstart the car, and they got to get out of the car and push it to get it on the road again? That's what it's like with Perry when he's losing energy and he's not paying attention. You know, you saw it towards the end of the stream. Every thing that he would say to a comment would be like, "Good night. No comment. I'm not saying anything. Next." You know, so I got to say to him sometimes, "Hey, this is so-and-so. This is so-and-so. Say this. This is what you always say to this person, so say this." It's not like me telling him what to say. It's just pulling the string and getting him to go again. And then I can, you know, kind of lay low for a while. And I used to have to do that a lot more back when we first started. It was really like training him. on how to do it. Like even with his cameos, I remember teaching him how to do cameos, and I'd have to be involved in every cameo he did, where like he didn't know how to do it, or then I'd have to like type them up and print them out and then read from a piece of paper. We're at the point now where he can do cameos on his own. That's a huge thing for me. He'll still send them to me, and I will vet them before they go out to the cameo recipient, because sometimes he'll screw up and I'll say, no, you got to do that one again, but I don't have to be there for it. Like I don't have to, like, because I used to have to be like I don't know, I forget how, I don't even remember how we did it. Maybe it was like Zoom or something like that, or I'd be on Zoom and he'd be and I'd be like, okay, this person, it's their birthday and they want to roast, and this is how you should do it, and I'd write it out for him, and then he'd mess it up and we'd have to do it. It would take so much time out of my day, and I get nothing out of his cameo, absolutely nothing. That's 100% him. So it was annoying to do that, but we eventually came to a point where he can now do that. It's self-sufficient. It takes a while. So anyway, so it's in the stream, a lot less directing, but he can't do it. Otherwise we can do like an hour stream. So an hour stream where he just kind of had no direction whatsoever. He could probably get through that if I just bombarded him with the comments and we added nothing else. But that would be very boring. It would be really boring. Jim says, over the weekend I pointed out to him several times to make sure he's talking to the people, that he's not talking to the people he thinks he is. Look for a blue check mark. But yeah, that does it. I say blue check mark every day. And that's the other thing. The Westworld analogy. I can go through a whole list of the Westworld analogy. That's another thing. The Westworld androids can, or hosts or whatever, they could have this whole day where they become self-aware, whatever. But the next day, they reboot and they wake up and they're back to playing a bartender or whatever they're intended to do. And that's kind of thing. He's on fire on Instagram right now. He writes Fake Gina again. Not the Gina 000. He hasn't responded to that one, but the real Gina account he just wrote, and I'm seeing it here. I'm looking at it. This is the live Perry Instagram. Gina, you did not show tonight. You made me look like a fool. You better show on Friday, or else. I mean, give me a break. Yeah. Somebody says, Don always knew. That's why he kept his distance. That's not true at all. He was just lazy. Tom, love your movie commentary. Have you seen Everything, Everywhere, All at Once? No, I haven't, Kyle. I haven't seen any new movie. I did go to the movies this weekend. I saw Top Gun, Top Gun Maverick, because I guess Regal is doing a thing where they're re-releasing Academy Award nominees for $5. And I hadn't seen it since it came out originally. And even when I saw it originally, my experience was a little compromised because we got there late. Whenever you get to a movie late, it's just, you never get over it. Like, you never can settle into the movie. And it always bothered me because I really enjoyed seeing that. So I saw it again on Saturday, and it was great. The theater was packed. People were cheering. It was every reason why you go to a movie in the movie theater. And I loved it. So, but no, I haven't seen any new movies. I didn't see anything. I can't remember. I don't think I've seen a new movie in a movie theater. Jesus, maybe since Top Gun last June or May or whenever that came out. Can I join the PCL Discord? Somebody asked. Yes, it's very easy. Jim will help you out with that. Did I vet the 45-minute long cameo? You know what? No, I don't think I ever watched it straight through. I think I scanned through it, and it was so ridiculous that I just was like, all right, let's submit that, That's fine. At least he's not addicted to Twitter. People can easily fake a blue checkmark on it. Yeah, I know. It's weird. The blue checkmark, I think the blue checkmark thing that everybody can get it is very weird. It's kind of thrown Twitter off its hinges. I think they should have made another color for like regular people, like green or something like that. I think that was a bad call to just let anybody verify. Somebody else says, I think Tom's the natural, not Perry. Love your hard work and good night all. Thank you. Good night. Tonight was a lot of work. A lot of work. Like I'm not even tired. I'm rattled from it. Like I'm like. And then plus this, it's like everything else. It's always a storm, and Jim can attest to this. It's whenever like it's a really hard night for us. it's usually a bunch of other stuff happening as well, like the software glitching. I remember last year we were still using Streamlabs. For people that don't know, there's like different, what streamers use. They usually use a combination of things. The real lazy people, they just use like Zoom or something like that, and that's why their streams look like shit. Other people use, what do they call that? The one, I can't think of the name now, but there's one where it's just like web-based and you can have guests on. I can't even think of it. A lot of people use this one. What is it called? I'm gonna have to look it up. StreamYard. That I think that looks like crap too. StreamYard. And then there's Streamlabs and then Stream Elements. But Stream Elements uses OBS. Not to be confusing. So anyway, we switched from Streamlabs because they completely blew up on us last year. Maybe around this time last year. And it forced us to change platforms to Stream Elements and OBS. And we haven't had any problems with them. And then lately, there's been a couple of problems. And I got to talk to their tech people because we're partners with Stream Elements, but it doesn't really mean anything. So, anyway, yeah. It's just it's one of those things where everything that can go wrong does go wrong. My power was out for a large part of the day, to the point where I thought we were going to have to reschedule until tomorrow. So it's just, yeah. And then excuse me. I had to take a drink of water. Last minute, the power came on, and then I had to scramble to do all the normal tests that I do to get on. Except there was a forced update that I had to update the software that I guess they pushed out over the weekend. And I was like, oh crap. And then whenever they update, everything gets reset. My microphone, the way, everything. Like the way I poured him in. And it's just so annoying. So, and on top of that, he was just unbearable. And he was unbearable over the weekend. He was unbearable, like, on a dingbat level, like just an absolute dingbat. I want to try hard not to call him a moron or an idiot or anything like that. I think that's a bad look if I come out and just like slam him like that. So I'm going to use more harmless names like Dingling. And he was a major Dingling this weekend with, you know, talking to these fake people on Instagram. So that, you know, and I wasn't talking to him all weekend. I really caught wind of some stuff because I had a kind of a free weekend this weekend, and I wanted to spend some time with my dad, which I did. And then, you know, I wanted to go to the movies. I wanted to do that. And then yesterday I was busy, and then I finally caught up with Dingling. And you can hear the call on if it was short, I would play it here, but it's not. It's like 40 minutes. But, you know, you can go on Patreon and check that out. Check my whispers. Somebody said, I sent an immediate share with a clip from this video. Thought you'd want to check it out. And if anything, to give Perry a heads up, he encountered a situation. Oh, the ATM video. Yeah, that was a good video. We saw that. I didn't know that, by the way. The thing with the chip video, where I'm kind of like Perry. I never used the chip either. And I'm very old school or old manish when it comes to using the ATM or any kind of bank stuff. Like I don't really go to the bank that often. But like if I have to make, like let's say I get paid via check for like, you know, my quote unquote real job. I know some people like deposit their checks in like the drive up window. I don't do that. I'm old school. I got to walk into the bank and literally hand it to the person and deposit it that way. Yeah. Somebody else says, the more you tell him it's not real, the more he believes it. I know, that's true. And that, by the way, I'm not trying to go, as they say in wrestling, break kayfabe with Perry. It's not like kayfabe to break with KCL, a piece of case. I just said KCL, PCL. But, and this has been a soft rule that I've told to Jim and Garrett in the past, but I'll make it public now. I mean, I think it's common sense. If Perry ever comes to me and he hears somebody's writing him on Instagram and saying like, "Oh, hey Perry," like an Amy thing, or like I don't know, a fake girl or something's happening with this, I will immediately I will immediately debunk it and tell him that that's BS, because that's a waste of my time and a waste of his time. That's my off time. And I know a lot of people don't understand that. You know, as far as like Jim, you know, it's almost like a 24/7 commitment, and that's Jim and Garrett can and Danko too can attest to that, because you know you're involved in the community, you're involved in all these things. We don't need this extra BS with Perry maintenance on top of everything else we got to do in our lives. You know, we have families, some of us have kids, and we have other jobs. This isn't our main gig. So, you know, hopefully maybe one day it will be, but it's not now. And I don't want to have to deal with all this extra BS where somebody's having fun with Perry on Instagram. And, you know, God, he's still going crazy on it. He's talking to, there's another Emily series. Oh, this is the one I saw earlier. Okay. I'm losing my mind. But anyway, you get that, right? Like, I'm not, like, when I say to Perry, oh, this is not the real Gina, I don't mean like a Gina writing into the stream. Because when we're doing the stream, that's fair game. That's fair game. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to debunk things. Now, at the same point, I'm not going to aid them necessarily either. Sometimes I will. But I'm not going to extend it. And maybe we'll have a phone call together during the week, Perry and I, and he'll talk about something that happened on the stream. And I'll record that and put it on Patreon. Occasionally, I'll do what I did yesterday, and he'll have a conversation about the Instagram thing. And I thought it was more of a public service. It's a real tough situation because I don't want to promote the nonsense on his Instagram and give other people the idea that they can do this. And at the same time, I kind of wanted to make it entertaining, but not laugh out loud, ha funny. You know what I mean? Danko says, I am supposed to work in 6 hours. Please don't mess with Perry. There's a time and place for things. Yeah, and the time is here on PCL. The time is here on PCL. That's the time where you can send in all the tip comments you want, and that's fine. Okay, that guy Pat's writing Perry now. And I said hello to him earlier. Yeah, so that's it. Somebody said, how can we get both chats on the chat thing that appears on stream, meaning YouTube and Twitch? It's really tough. As I've explained before, integrating the YouTube chat into the stream, like Twitch chat, you kind of got to choose one or the other. So when you log, and that's the one thing that I really liked about Streamlabs versus Stream Elements is what we're using now, is Streamlabs combined the two. You logged into your Twitch account and your YouTube account, and it combined the two. So everything was great. And the chat was a combination of the two. And with this, you got to pick one or the other. So, and if I logged in just to YouTube for Stream Elements, there's no media share. There's no media request. You can't do that. So they don't have it available for YouTube. So mainly it's a Twitch stream that gets satellited to YouTube. That's basically how I'd explain it. There might be another side app that does combine them. I've looked at one and it looked like crap. So yeah, it's an endless battle for you, Tom. Feels like a losing battle at the moment. I'm sorry to say. I know, but hope springs eternal. I'll see. You know, I've had a rough year. Between taking care of my mom, my dad, and losing my mom, and dealing with Perry and all this other stuff. So, you know, now that I've gone through that, I can focus more time on doing this. And I just, listen, like, I love Perry, okay? Everybody that does PCL, anybody that says, oh, I hate Perry, he's a horrible person, screw that noise. There's nobody that works for PCL that hates Perry. Everybody loves Perry. I love Perry. Now, did he piss me off tonight, and was I ready to strangle him? Absolutely. But, am I annoyed when he's just like a lump and I got to inject him with PCL adrenaline? Yeah, that's annoying. But I love the guy. And I do want him to, this whole thing is for him to have a better life, not to sound like a broken record. But all the tip comments, that all goes into one account. After all the taxes and all the fees are taken out, whatever, that goes into his savings that's set up by me and his cousin Mark. And, God forbid PCL goes away, let's say a year from now, let's say 6 months from now, let's say 2 years from now. I don't know when. I'm going to say this straight out. I am never putting myself in the position that I was in 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where I am struggling to not only support myself, but I got to support him and pay for all his bills and pay and make sure he doesn't go homeless because his useless family didn't help. You know, they helped a little bit, and I mean, straight up, like his cousins did help a little bit, but they were like mafiosos when PCL first started. They had their head out right. We got to be paid back. Forgetting about what I put in and where I put myself in. Like my credit is still screwed because of all that stuff, and I'm never putting myself in that position again. Never. So I have to have a bank, a metaphoric bank where if this goes away, he can still live off something. He could still pay his rent for a while. He could still pay his bills. And he could still eat his fast food. You know what I mean? And when that gets to a certain point where I'm happy with it. And also, here's the other thing. I want to buy him a house. I want him to buy himself a house with those funds. No, we're not there yet. We're not anywhere near there. But it would be nice if that could happen. I'd like to get him the hell out of that apartment. More for the sake of his neighbors than anything else. So yeah, we got a long way to go with that. Cha-Cha asks, how am I doing? Good days and bad days, Cha-Cha. Good days and bad days. Good days, okay days, and bad days. I've had them all recently. Jim says that YouTube peaked at 878 viewers tonight. That's great. Yeah, there was a lot of people watching tonight. Until the crash. That was a bummer. Yeah, that's 77. I wonder if Jen... I don't want to do this, but I'm going to call him and I'm going to ask if Gina showed up. I did this last week and he came back, but I know he's not coming back tonight, so don't get your hopes up.
Why are you calling me?
How is your Instagram? Is it okay?
On the phone?
Well,
it worked.
I saw that you got right on Instagram the second you darted away from the chair.
Well, to check it, it worked.
Yeah, you were writing all your ladies. Did Gina show up? I know it's still technically the stream's still going. So did she show up?
Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Nobody's here.
So listen, I know it's late, but.
Not going back on. Fuck you.
How do you know what I was gonna say that? I didn't even finish. How about this? It's late. Everybody's chill. I know. But listen, a lot of people hung with you through all the stream problems, us getting knocked off because of tech issues, getting back on. You were kind of nasty tonight. It would be nice if you just came on.
Dad, leave me alone. Good night.
What if you just talked about the weather?
Good night. God fucking damn you.
What if we just talked? What if we talked about you snowboarding and encouraged you to snowboard this week? Sorry. All right. Yeah, I didn't think he was going to come back. Yeah, if you missed the beginning of the stream, Perry, we made an agreement that, I guess the fake Gina. By the way, and the fake Gina, I don't have any ill will. The guy who was doing it apologized and was very, people get carried away. I get it. If I was a fan of this and on the other side of it, I might be tempted as well. So they apologized. But anyway, I guess that person said that, hey, I'm going to show up tonight. So he was convinced that she was showing up. So I said, hey, here's the deal. If she shows up, I'm wrong and you're right. If she doesn't show up, I'm right and you're wrong and you got to admit. And then he got really mad at that. And then I was reading the message that this person wrote as Gina. Like, that could still be her. That sounds like her. And I tell you, I can count the number of times where he shocked me and I'm at a loss for words on one hand. Maybe a hand and a half. And I was just like, what? Like seriously, what? Like the Kenny Land deal was another time. I think if I can remember. But jeez Louise. Yeah. Somebody says they changed in the past year after the split from OBS. I do what worked for me, and you guys need any help and want to test anything. Oh, that's cool. Toe for Toke in YouTube chat. Yeah, I could definitely use help with anybody who's familiar with Stream Elements, because I did have a guy from Stream Elements support that was like all about helping out and stuff, and I haven't heard from him. So I don't know if he left the company or something, because his email, like I said, hey, we're having a real problem here. The media share isn't working right. This isn't working right, and blah blah blah. I'm not going to bore you with all the technical stuff that I've had to kind of jury rig to get working, but I don't hear from the guy anymore. So yeah. Kyle says, Tom, I hope you recoup some of your money. You deserve it. Yeah, I'm just tabling that for a later date. I have recouped some of my money, yes. Patreon helps a lot. Patreon, Perry and I kind of split that 50-50. And I put a lot of work into Patreon. So anybody who signs up for Patreon, that does help me a lot. So, like the offers and stuff, that goes 100% to Perry. But Patreon does help. And thank you to everybody who's recently signed up for Patreon. I'm going to go out of my way to really make that special and post things. And by the way, I am a Patreon of other people, like of other things, like just to support. Like Red Letter Media. I've been on their Patreon for a while. And once in a while they post something cool and exclusive. But it's mostly like, hey, here's some behind the scenes, which I don't care about. Or, hey, here's a video that's like 5 days early, which I don't care about. I can wait the 5 days. So I like to get things on Patreon that are never going to be anywhere else, like phone calls from Perry, like voicemails, like him, videos with Perry. Would I consider alternate platforms to Patreon? Yeah, absolutely. But the problem with that is it's like alternates to YouTube, where not a lot of people are aware of them. But yeah, I'd like to have our own platform. I'd like to be like how Red Bar is, if anybody knows what that is. Like have the PCL website, and then the stream is out of there, all the exclusive content's out of there directly. That's where I eventually like to get to, and screw YouTube and Twitch, to be honest. John says, can we stage an actual event intervention? That was my initial idea, and I did mention that to Jim earlier today. I said, it would kind of be funny if we can get like an intervention, like Garrett shows up with Tony Hawk. I don't know who else. Maybe John the Repairman or something, and all go in like, listen, Perry, we got to sit down and talk. We gotta talk. We gotta thing. John Schmidt says we need Patreon merch, like a PCL vinyl with the songs of PCL. I'd like to do that. I was actually thinking about putting together all the music of PCL, but I wonder how that works, like legally. Like, can you get away with putting out you can't sell it, but you give it away, like a little digital download, or maybe even a record of Life at the Outpost, Ricky Corney, the 92 song, Perry singing Old Anxiety, whatever, all the things, Hairdresser. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Perry's a gay man now. All that stuff. By the way, I cannot get over how good Toby Keith is, by the way. I hope there's more of those. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put more thought into it. I'm more in a business mind now than I was over the past, really year, because I think it's funny. I was talking to my dad about this, and it was about, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but it's the 1 year anniversary from when there was a time, I don't think I mentioned it at the time, but my mom went missing. It was really the first real sign that she was really in a decline, where she drove her car to church, and I didn't know that she wasn't allowed to drive. My dad kept that from me, but he called me in a panic on a Saturday afternoon saying, hey, you got to come over here. Your mom took the car. And I was like, so what's the big deal with that? I thought she was still driving. Apparently she hadn't been driving in months. And I drove over there, and apparently she went to church, and then we went there. And I know I've probably said this before, so I'm just going to get through it quick. We get to church, it was a 5:00 mass on a Saturday, and I walk around, we drove around, we found her car, and I said, oh, okay, well, her car's here, she's clearly in church. And we both went in church, and I scanned the crowd like the Terminator, walking into Tech Nor, and I was just like, scan, didn't find her. And long story short, we waited for mass to get out, we looked for everybody coming out, and we didn't see my mom. And my dad then went to the police station, and I went back to my parents' house, and her phone was turned off, and it turns out the phone was turned off because the phone bill is automatically paid on her credit card, and she was just forgetting to pay bills at that point, and they turned it off. So then I'm at the house and I get a call, the phone rings, and it's this woman. Are you Patricia's, that's my mom's first name, son or husband? I found her on the side of the road, and I think she was calling from her phone, but somehow my mom, gave her the thing. And I said, where are you? I got the address, I got her phone number. Then I called my dad right away. I said, he was at the police station. I said, listen, I found out where she is. Let's drive over there. And from where the church was, where she parked her car, she had walked over 3 miles. Now, my mom's an older woman. She's in her 70s. So just to be walking aimlessly. And she walked to a point where she was walking on a road that has no pavement. There's no sidewalk. Like it was getting dangerous because it's approaching like the Long Island Expressway, which is a huge highway. So we were like, so thankful for this woman. And then we drove. She was parked on, in this person's driveway. Thanked this woman profusely. And my mom was still kind of herself at that point. But it was jarring and scary. And, a lot of things could have went wrong. And it was like the first sign to me, because my dad, nothing against him, but he had a way of keeping things from us, meaning me and my sisters, where he was trying to protect us. Because I was still visiting my mom. I didn't really notice anything. Like, she called me one time, and I was with Teddy, who was like 3 years old at the time, and she had forgot where she parked. She went to the mall and she forgot where she parked. But I thought that wasn't a big deal. But there was these little signs leading up, and then there was this big gap where my dad kept things from me. And I had a conversation. I said, I wish you didn't keep that from me. I wish you would have told me. So anyway, we got mom, and she was back, but she never drove after that. Of course, I had to take her car and keep it at my place. And so that's almost a year ago now, and that really started the journey of this steady decline, and it was all consuming. Anybody that's been through it, there's a lot of people that have contacted me in the PCL community, or people just watch the streams that have been through something similar, and it's been very comforting, to hear from people that have not only lost a parent, but just like dealt with dementia, Alzheimer's specifically, and it's hard. It's hard to see the person that you love degenerate like that, and it was very rapid after that point. So coming up to that anniversary is very somber and sobering in a way, and in some ways a relief. So it's been a full year, and I'm just saying this to say that I had to take a step back from PCL and a point where just behind the scenes stuff where I couldn't firm up things. Like, we had a lot of plans we were going to do, and I just had to scale back a little bit. That's why I had to scale back to once a week. I didn't want to scale back to once a week for any other reason, really, just because I had so many other things going on. So and now we're back to 2 days a week, and we'll go from there. And things are going really well right now, and I'm happy about that. But I do have moments where I don't know. I miss my mom. I miss the woman she was, and it's weird that it was a very rapid year, because a lot of people that go through that, it's a lot longer of a decline. It's years, not 1 year. It was very rapid, especially. And I used to not kid myself, but I didn't know anything. Like, oh, this is just because, she needs to eat more, she needs to do that. And she had minor surgery in June, where that was kind of life-threatening because she was so frail. And that's, again, we took time off there. We took 5 weeks off, and that was why. And then it was kind of a roller coaster from that point on. So anyway, I just brought that up to say that's why, a lot of these stream things that I've wanted to address for a long time kind of got tabled. Because listen, this is what you got to do. It's a cliche thing to say. You always got to put family first. Put your family first. That goes for anybody. Family comes first. I don't care about You know, and I'm lucky that I have, you know, a job that's very understanding. I don't mean this. And I was able to do it, you know, more remotely and everything like that. So that was good. And most PCL people were extremely understanding too. Soviet says, we took my wife's mom's keys last year. She started hopping curves. The car looked like it scraped the shopping cart in the tri-state area. It was hard. Yeah, are you in the tri-state area, Soviet Code? I didn't realize that. I thought you were in the Midwest. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, just not even to mention, but when people get older, they lose their ability to drive. I see it with my dad even. Like, I am white knuckling it every time I'm in the passenger seat with my dad driving, because he could be a little like out to lunch sometimes, and like he'll blow through a stop sign, and I'll be like, Dad, like, come on, like that could go really wrong. You got to pay attention, especially nowadays. It is harder to drive now than it has ever been in the history of motor vehicles. And I'm talking like even in the 20s, like when it was the Wild West, like as far as driving goes. People are so distracted. People are always on their phones. They're texting people. Younger people, anybody under 30 doesn't know how to drive. And you really got to watch yourself. You really got to not only watch what you're doing, you got to watch what everybody else is doing. I think it's harder to drive now than it ever been. So that, coupled with being older and not being in your, being able to do that, you know, whatever. Kitty Commander, I got to see both my grandmothers pass with Alzheimer's. I'm sorry to hear that. It's just a dreadful, cruel disease. Somebody else says, I worked in a dementia ward in a hospital for 6 months. It's a horrible condition. I know, you know, and I even, like, I hate to say it, but, you know, it runs in Perry's family. Perry's aunt had it, and his mother didn't, but somebody else did. And I'm like, Jesus, if he's this bad now with Instagram, what's my life going to be in another, 20 years? Let's say he lives that long. I don't know. Dealing with Perry in that state, that's gonna be brutal, and that's what I'm gonna have to do. Like, I am locked into Perry for the rest of my life. That's it. I made a commitment to him, and yeah, I may get mad sometimes and say, "Listen, Perry, I gotta walk away. You're too much," but I never mean it, because, you know, I made an oath to him that I would take care of him, and I've had long talks with his cousin about this too. You know, I'm not going to walk away from it. Even if PCL goes away, you know, for whatever reason, PCL's no more, I'm still with him. You know, that's the thing. I'm still with him. And I still have to find a way to make sure he's taken care of, even in that stage. Please, I hope that never happens. But, you know, you got to prepare for the inevitable. Steve says, I visited my grandma in a dementia ward. Crazy old lady barged into her room and stripped naked. Ugh, God, it's horrible. You know, you just feel so sorry for these people that go through this. It's just awful. Jake says, TomB, I got something to say. I've been dealing with lots of stuff in my life, and I was a caregiver to my dad, who had heart problems, who was diabetic, and who was on oxygen and other stuff, dealing with my own anxiety, ADHD, and some other stuff. Watching Perry on Twitch makes me happy. Thanks for making me happy. Hey, that's awesome. And that's, that always, Jim and Garrett and myself always share those kind of messages that people pop up and say that. Like, that just means the world. And by the way, thanks to Jim too. Like, I'm not a Discord guy, but like I guess there's a sub thing in Discord that's like a Tom Brennan fan club. And when my mom passed away, a lot of people in Discord just said the sweetest things, and I read every single one of them because Jim was good enough to like copy them and give them to me to read. So I did see them all, even if I didn't respond to each one. I just wanted to tell you that it really meant a lot to me, and you guys are awesome. So thank you. And I know a lot of people are going through this. And Jake says he lost his dad on the 7th of February 2020 because of liver failure and kidney failure. Because of alcohol. I was my dad's caregiver. I had to help him with everything the day before Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving 2019. We had to call EMS to come get my dad off the floor. I know I've been there, and that's brutal. That's really brutal. Like the night that the ambulance came to take my mom to hospice care was really hard. And I know a lot of people have gone through that too. So perhaps it's time for Garrett to move in, somebody else says. Well, we've talked about that. That's up to Garrett. He needs something, man. He needs some kind of garrison on him. Would he notice if I put blocks on those people? Soviet Code says, I've done that. You know, I tried, like, here's the deal, too. I try to respect his privacy. I know that sounds crazy coming from me, you know, who, like, puts his phone calls and voicemails on Patreon, but... I really do, because I feel uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes he has nice conversations with fans. Like, somebody will say something really sweet to him, like, hey, Perry, I know people give you a hard time, but we love you, and, you know, thanks for this and thanks for that. And that's awesome. And, you know, I don't really peek into that too much. I'm mainly looking out for, like, you know, real nasty, you know, scammers, because I just know, for me, it looks like he's finally gone to bed because he's not on Instagram anymore. But yeah, I have blocked accounts, like bad ones. Like I'll just be like, okay, like, you know, for instance, there was somebody messaging him on Twitter, and again, I don't really go through his DMs or anything like that. Perry can be Perry, but somebody, I forget, it was a fake celebrity name, some girl, and they were like anti Bob Levy and Shuley and saying, stay away from Bob Levy and Shuley. They're just using you. Don't go on any trip that they want you to, or something like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't need that influencing Perry. Let's just let Perry make his own decisions as far as that stuff goes, where he wants to go. And I think that's really unfair and not true. So there's stuff like that, and that's an insta block. You know, once in a while, Perry, get away from TomB. He's robbing you. TomB is robbing you, which is the best. Which is the best, because if there's anybody that's been robbed in a relationship with Perry, it is yours truly. I mean, not robbed. I've given, you know, gone broke, but you know, that always makes me laugh. That I'm somehow robbing Perry when he benefits the most. Okay, I like Shuley's show, and I only found it because of PCL. Yeah, I like Shuley. I met Shuley a long time ago in Brooklyn when Jimmy Kimmel Live was in Brooklyn, and he was there with like Stern Whackpackers, and he knew who I was, and he was super cool. And I always liked him on the Jay Thomas show, which was on Sirius. And Jay Thomas was this really great all-time radio guy. And you know, he was on Cheers, and he's an actor and everything like that. But he had a great radio show, and he was a great storyteller. And Shuley was his co-host. And I really liked that show. It was like the only other show other than Stern, when I was still listening to Stern, that I would listen to. So I knew him more from the Jay Thomas show. And I would just and when I met him, Jay Thomas had just passed away. Jay Thomas passed away of cancer. And we talked about how great Jay Thomas was, and how much I miss him as just a listener, and how he missed him as, you know, a coworker. And he said how much Jay taught him the business on, like, how to be on mic and how to tell a story and how to, you know, how to carry a show. And I just thought it was really interesting. So I you know, and it's just I think he's a really decent guy. He's interesting because you never hear him say anything bad about Stern. He's very diplomatic about that. In fact, he was always diplomatic about everybody. And I don't understand how, like, he turned so hard on Stuttering John, like, when that started. Because he was always, like, the good guy, and, like, hey, listen, I'm going to be Switzerland. Not even play both sides. I'm going to be Switzerland. I'm going to be neutral. And then all of a sudden, because I remember, like, seeing he had, like, a YouTube show, like, a year ago, and it was nothing, you know, it didn't have the following that it has now. And the Stuttering John stuff just went crazy. And I just wonder, maybe somebody knows, I wonder what happened where a switch flicked and he's like, yeah, you know what, F this guy, I'm going after Stuttering John. Because not for nothing, I do feel bad. I actually feel bad for Stuttering John. He gets it so hard. And I know he brings it on himself and all that stuff, but I do feel bad. Soviet Code says, I'm still blocked on Instagram. I'm free on Twitter. Well, I have Perry's Instagram right now. Anybody who's blocked on Instagram, this is your chance. Give me your what's your IG name on because when you go through his block list, Perry's block list on anything, it's like going through the Dead Sea Scrolls. So just give me your @ thing on Instagram, and I'll unblock you. because I'm logged in right now, thanks to the Instagram scam squad. I don't even have access to Sirius anymore because I was a lifetime subscriber to Sirius, but Sirius is tricky. Their lifetime subscriptions, it's only for the lifetime of your radio, and then it's just a long, convoluted thing, but they blocked the access to the whatever device I had for Sirius. Had internet access, and that's how you would listen through the app. Anyway, they blocked the basic access, and you can only do it for premium. So they automatically upgraded you to premium, but they charged me for it. It was a weird thing where I didn't get the free upgrade; I got the charged upgrade, and I disputed it, and then they just said I owed all this money, which I didn't. I was a lifetime subscriber, and I just stopped disputing it because I had stopped listening to Stern at that point. I was like, you know what? I don't feel like calling India every time I have a problem. So I just stopped. I have several friends that have shows at Sirius, and they say like, hey, give us your details and we'll sort it out. I just never did it because I don't listen to Sirius. But yeah, I don't know why I got blocked. I never effed with him. Yeah, you can just get shrapnel sometimes. You see, by the way, you see how Perry is here. So. When he yells at somebody for doing something they didn't do. So you can only imagine how bad it is. I'm way behind on the Twitter chat, by the way, so I'm gonna read some stuff that's like old. Grimace says, every time I hear Instagram scam strat, I imagine the TJ Hooker theme in the background. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for. Like an old like hour-long procedural, like 60s, 70s, 80s, like cop show. Get the scam squad. And it just kind of made, I wanted some reason why I was talking to him about it. John Jimin says, Tom, you and Jim deserve a gold medal for attempting to wrangle the sourpuss tonight. I know, tonight was really hard. I know Jim was scrambling too. He's doing his thing where he's scrambling. He's getting crowd sources. He's getting Tom's tips together. He's getting offers together. And I'm dealing with the maniac, in various forms. You got every version of Perry tonight. Every single version. That's rare. You got absolutely apoplectic, crazy baby mode. You got light baby mode. Every degree of baby mode. You got low energy Perry, which I tried to direct him out of, which I did. And you got dopey Perry, gullible Perry. You got smart Perry too. There was some things like, that's a computer grapher, So every version of Perry, if I could say something. What's my favorite food, Jake? One food. I'm just gonna be generic. I'm gonna say a really well-made cheeseburger is probably my favorite. He was going crazy on Instagram. Somebody says, "Oh, breakfast after hours while walking the dog. Hope you had a great stream." I guess that's somebody in Europe. You can be the judge if it was a great stream. First of all, we had a lot of tech problems, and people just drop off. A lot of people just don't come back. The casual viewer isn't coming back after the stream goes off the air, where it just freezes up like that. So now I got to combine the two. And put that up on Patreon tomorrow. I'll try to get up as early as possible, but you got to understand when you're editing two things together and you got to polish it up and cut, like his darts out and other things out. It takes a long time to process and render and encode and then upload. So yeah, I like fillet of fish too. I'm a big fillet of fish fan. I haven't had one in quite some time, but I legitimately. I'm going to sound crazy. The filet of fish is my favorite thing on the menu at McDonald's. I do like it. Although I miss the way it was in the 80s when they used a better piece of fish. Quality piece of fish. It's not the same anymore. John says, Tom, how many hours do you think you'll spend on the phone with Perry to get him on a flight to Philly? We'll see how that goes. He was very against it when I pitched it. So Bob Levy... and Shuley are doing this thing in Philadelphia, not Philly, somewhere in Pottstown, PA. And it's May, in the middle of May sometime. It's this big event. They're doing a live Uncle Rico, a bunch of people. They're trying to make it a star-studded event and get Perry there. So yeah, look, if Perry is offered a good payday and we can get things worked out, like, I'll need 2 hotel rooms, one for myself, one for Perry. I think Bob wanted Perry to stay at his place. That's not going to happen. Perry does need a chaperone. And that would be me, since I'm the closest to Philly. I'm like a 3-hour drive from Philly. So it's very possible, but it would be a big deal because Perry's never been to the East Coast. Perry doesn't fly that much. He flew last May. He went up to Washington for like a few days to help his cousin. Before that, I don't even remember the last time he was on a plane before that. I think he flew to Utah for a Big 3 thing when they were doing the Sundance thing. And then before that, it might have been 2006 where he did that festival in Chicago. I don't know. All right, Soviet Goat, all lowercase on Instagram. Let me see. At Soviet Goat. I don't see it. It probably doesn't pop up because. Oh, please don't tell me that I have to. Please don't tell me that I have to go through his blocked thing. It's not showing up, which means I got to go into the settings. Give me a second. Little tech time. God damn it. Please don't do me a favor. Soviet Goat, just do me a favor. And I know you are going to, Soviet's going to Soviet. But don't do anything on Instagram that's going to completely. I can course correct Twitter somewhat, but don't piss them off on Instagram deliberately, because Instagram's harder. I forgot about this. Okay, I do have to go into his block account list. Jesus. Hold on a second. I hate it. I really hate Instagram. I'm on it very rarely, like me personally. I just don't like it. I used to post on it, like, fairly regularly. And now I look back at my posts and I just cringe. But I think that's on all social media. Like every now, like I'll go on Facebook. The only reason I'm on Facebook is for Facebook groups. I'm in a bunch of groups. And, well, I'm in the middle of doing it, so I am going to do it. But every now and again, it'll be like, hey, you made this post 5 years ago. And I'll look at it and be like, ugh. Like me taking a picture of like my dinner somewhere, thinking like, why was I doing this? Like, who cares what I'm eating for dinner? Like, or like some stupid post that I made, it's just embarrassing. And I'll usually just delete it. I'll go on that. It's a good time to just delete this. Just hate it. Rick says he hates social media in general. I do too. I have a good friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who has never been on social media at any point. And I used to give him crap about it. Like 10, 12 years ago, we'd all be on social media and I'd be like, can I call Perry one more time? I think I pushed it enough with Perry. And I'd say to him, hey, you're not on Facebook. You're missing all this fun. Why don't you post on Facebook? Why don't you get a Facebook account? He's like, I don't want one. I don't care. And you know what? Maybe he was out of the loop a little bit, but I look at him now as a hero, like to the point where I want to build a statue to him. Like, this is the man that has never been on Facebook, has never been on Instagram, never been on Twitter. It's great. Somebody says Reddit is the only one I use. Yeah, the thing with Reddit is I'll search Reddit every now and again if I'm looking for a tech issue. Like, oh, does somebody have this same computer thing that I have or equipment that I have, and is there a troubleshooting? Is there a review on this thing? But as far as like social stuff on Reddit, I don't give a shit. Like that I don't get sucked into. I only search it when I'm looking for an answer to something, and I don't get sucked in. John says social media makes you depressed and miserable, scientifically proven. Yeah, I agree with that, except it's cool when you're in a group of like-minded people in a community. Like, I'm in a couple of baseball things, like Mets groups. I'm in some audiophile groups. Like, I'll be in whatever, custom thing, some weird hobbies that I'm into, groups for that. I joined an Apple TV group that I had to get out of because they were just all idiots. Because I was having a problem with Apple, not so much Apple TV, but like buying movies on iTunes, whatever. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be a good place for that. My God, it was horrible, so I got out. I'm trying to do Tom's Tech Time with Perry. God, They make it really hard to find where like your blocked accounts are. Like I don't even know. Account status saved, personal information, contacts. So Viko, I'm gonna write a note to myself and do this. I don't want to take supervision maybe. No. Supervision is something I should look into. It's for teens, but I did look into that. It was hard to do for me because he already has an established account. It's more good for people think. I see people making AI bots based on answers from Reddit. Help me fix problem groups. Yeah, exactly. That's what Reddit's for. Rick says, I quit social media completely 10 years ago because I would go on there and I was nothing but selfies and pictures of food. I know. And by the way, I was guilty of that. Like if I'd go on vacation, like just go on a trip, I'd post, oh my God, let me get all these pictures. And I'd bulk post them on Facebook. Who the F cares? Like really, who cares? Why are you doing that? Not, I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me. Sovico says, the only thing I ever did on Instagram was tell him I worked as a vet tech and was taking care of Daisy Ridley's pet hamster who had a prolapsed anus. I knew anus was going to come into it at some point. He ignored the hamster, but it was all about me telling her to call him. I said she would call in exchange for a butthole picture, and he said I'm disgusting and didn't block me. Then months later blocked me for something I said on the stream. Well, there you go. I'm on Facebook for my family. I get it. And, you know, like, here's the thing. When my mom passed away, I didn't post anything about it, but then you learn these things as you go. So I didn't realize this, but I guess it's just part of the way people find out news now. So I've really whittled down my Facebook too. Like I've gotten rid of anybody that I don't know personally, and that means like maybe somebody that was like a PCL fan or a Big 3 fan. I've probably unfriended. If you request me again, I'll add you back. But I really wanted to get it down to like just people I know and not make it so annoying. Not make my timeline so cluttered. And also if I post a picture of like me and like, you know, my dad or something like that, I didn't want, you know, some idiot writing like, oh, is Perry there? Like, make some Perry thing. I'm sorry for your loss. I lost my mom in 2009. Well, I'm sorry for your loss too. It never goes away. So I've heard. There's no rule book for grief, or there's no time limit for grief. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, my sister posted about my mom passing, and she put all the funeral home information, which I guess is important because then people show up. And my friend Brian was really good. I have two friends, Brian, one in the West Coast that helped Perry with the mattress, and one friend here. And he knew because we're very close. And then he went and told a lot of my friends that I didn't even tell, and they showed up at the wake, and that really meant a lot to me. Like I like my old personal trainer who became my realtor, who we're still very good friends with. He showed up, and it was actually his birthday, and I was, oh my God, like how did you even know? And he said, oh, Brian told me. Anyway, so it was a lesson where I did eventually post on Facebook because it's a good way to let people know that you're not in constant contact with, that you may know in your life. And I did hear from people like old coworkers and friends who found out after the fact, because I posted it after the fact. Like I posted it like the day after the funeral. And, oh, when's the services? Please tell me the services. I want to pay my respects. And they didn't even know my mom, but and again, I'm an old guy at this point. I didn't realize this. When they're paying their respects, they don't necessarily have to have a relationship with who died. They're paying their respects to you and to show their respect to you. And I didn't quite get that about what a wake was or anything like that. I always thought like if you went to a wake, you had to know the person who passed. But it's a good move to go, like if you have a friend who lost somebody close to them, you go there for them. You go there to support your friend, and you're paying your respects to that friend and also the person who passed. But I wish I would have known that. I didn't. And there's a couple of wakes I probably should have gone to that I didn't in the past. And now I know. So I'm passing that information on to you guys. God forbid you have a close one pass away. You do want to get the information out there and let people know, because I have some people that are disappointed. Like, wow, I really wish I would have known. I really wish I would have known, and I regret not posting it sooner. So there's that. Somebody says, I don't know if this is junk or not. I wanted to offer promotion on your channel, followers and viewers chat. The price is lower than any competitor. Okay, that's junk. Next stream is Friday. That's true. Sorry, I'm gonna get going a bit. Tom, when Villa La Paloma had the big pool party years ago, any memories? What did management think? Oh, the pool party was not at Perry's place. No, the pool party was at John Quincy Adams' place, allegedly. That was a big spread. No, there's never a pool party at Perry's place. I've never been in Perry's pool, and I don't want to. Danko says, my mom has been sick for a while, and it's an uphill climb as you watch them deteriorate. Pro tip, take advantage of the time you have while you have it. It does not last forever. Well, I didn't know that. I'm really sorry to hear that, Chris. Chris is Danko, so I'm sorry to hear that, Chris, and I'll have a good thought for your mom. That's rough, and it's true. I've said this before. If you're lucky enough to have both your parents in your life, spend all the time you can with them. You know, don't be up their butt, but tell them you love them. Get this time in now, because even now, and I did get a lot of time in with my mom. I did, but I always had this thing where I wanted to envision, like I had this thing where I wanted to make this like really bad talk show set and like film like me as the host and interview my parents, and just to get to all their stories, and just for me and my sisters and my aunt, my cousin maybe. Yeah, I would never post it anywhere. And I always wanted to do it, and then I put it off. My mom's bad on camera, my mom's bad on microphone, but my dad's a great talker. My dad's been on here. He's a great talker. And I regret not doing that now. And I want to do more with my dad. I want to get a lot of my dad's stories. He's a writer. He writes his own stories, but I'd like to get my dad's stories at least recorded, like a podcast thing, but like just for like me or my sisters or something, just to get it out there. Because that would be cool. I accidentally found Perry on YouTube 6 months ago. Been addicted ever since. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That your mom is your favorite person. My mom was my favorite person. I was a mama's boy. You know, my mom always had my back, and I always had hers, and we definitely had our differences over the years. But yeah, I was very, very lucky to have the time I had with her. I really want to get Perry on my podcast. Who I need to talk to? Well, you need to talk to me. I don't know what your podcast is. Here's the rule, straight up. I don't know anything about your podcast. You got to have at least the same or more viewers than PCL does. So otherwise, Perry's not going to do it. So you got to be at the same level or above. Because I think it's a bad look. And there's no offense to anybody that does a podcast. But I know comedians are guilty for this. Comedians are desperate for attention. And I'm not naming names. But when you see comedians doing any show, like they'll just do anything, I think it looks bad. I think it's a bad look when you're on somebody's stream that has like, you know, whatever views. And I'm not disparaging anybody, but it you know, when you go on somebody, you know, when Perry goes on another show, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for me because I got to. You think Perry's getting himself on another show? No, I got to do it. And I always give the show a lot of notes and bullet points so they're completely up to date on what's going on with Perry. So it's work for me. But it's also promotion where you want to get, you know, you can bring them some of your viewers and they bring you some of their viewers, and it's like that. So, but yeah, we get a lot of requests to go on people's things, but build up your channel, build up your show, and then when you get to a certain point, we'll do that. Soviet Goat works overnights, 13-hour shifts. Thursday I sleep an hour and a half, wake up for Perry, then go back to work for another 3. That is dedication. Can't miss a stream. I'm like Perry with his girls. See, that's the thing. Okay, so like people that have to catch the stream live, I know that there is a thing. Don't be sorry for asking, Jake. It's totally cool to ask. Absolutely. I want to give you an honest answer. No, you do you. You be a go-getter and ask as many people as you want, and you're gonna, you know, you'll get people to do it. Yeah, so people that catch the show live, I realize it's very important for people to see Perry Caravello live, and it's not the same watching it because somebody was mad that Perry the Friday stream now happens so early because if they send Perry mail they can't see it live. But my thing is, well, the YouTube stream stays up, the Friday stream stays up on YouTube so you can see it later. And they go, yeah, it's not the same though. I want to be in the chat when it happens. And I guess I kind of get that, but I don't. Like I'm not a live person. Like I'll listen to things, like for instance, like I have a Compound Media subscription. I'll listen to Kumia every now. I'll listen to it fairly regularly because it's short. It doesn't take up a lot of my time, and I can like pick up a show. I can listen to like 20 minutes, stop it, and do some work, and then get back to it later and finish it. But I'm always like weeks behind. And I know it goes on live and people watch it. I could never be the person that sits down and watches it live. I always like the thing. Yeah. Do I have siblings? Yes, I have 2 sisters, both younger. I'm the oldest. Wait, I got a question for Danko. How do you post in both chats at the same time? Are you like copying and pasting, or is it like, are you using like an app for that? That's pretty crazy. He's posting in YouTube and he's also posting in Twitch at the same time. So. When boomers got on social media, it was ruined. I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah, I get that. I watch live, but the clips like TomB week. But I like clips like, yeah, I know. That's the other thing too. I know this is a big thing, and I've been meaning to do this. Like, this is another thing that I had to table this past year because of other things going on. I want to get like either a separate PCL official clips channel or post more clips. Garrett's really good at that as far as posting on TikTok and short things on our YouTube now and things like that. I'd like to get bigger clips, and I actually have talked to guys like Francis Project and stuff to kind of work out stuff. I remember talking to Jord Hoff about it, and there's a couple people that have volunteered, and I got to get more on that because I know PCL's got to get their own clips go. There's a lot of people clipping PCL and getting a lot of views. Although I will say, if you're a clipper, do not monetize your channel because that's a no-go. And I think most creators say that. Don't make money on our content. That's not happening. And if you want to do something like that, you'd have to talk to us. That's fair. It's certain basic rules. But excuse me. But yeah, we got to get like a dedicated official PCL clips channel. Oh, somebody says their parents are still married in 50 years. You're very lucky. That's great. Would Perry do a movie commentary stream? Yeah, he would, but how would that work? Like, I know Twitch can do that. That would have to be Twitch exclusive. Because if there's something on Amazon Prime, I think you can do that. But, there'll be tip comments interrupting it and stuff. Maybe. I could see it happening. We've talked about it. We need an IMDb database for PCL streams. I want a top 250 streams. I know. I have like a Word document of every stream we've done. But it's nowhere near complete. When will Perry be gaming? Hopefully soon. I don't want to give a date on that. Hopefully soon. And the gaming stream, I'm pretty sure is going to be Twitch exclusive. That's not going to be live on YouTube, although it will go to YouTube for like a replay, for like archive. But the live version will be Twitch exclusive. I think that's kind of what Twitch is about. It's live gaming mostly. We're an outlier where we just do this kind of crazy stream. I really want PCL to blow up and get more viewers. Me too. He is basically unknown in Australia. I've been telling friends about him and the stream, but they just don't get it. A lot of Australian fans. Why does Perry hate pickles? I don't know. Like, he just has one of those things. We all have them. By the way, the same way Perry hates pickles, I hate peanut butter. So we all have our things. Can Perry play checkers? I have no idea. I would assume so. Yeah, if we can rate each stream and get a score, I don't know. Just a clip of him watching Shutter Island is it better to die a good man? And he thinks both. Is it better to be a monster or die a good man? Both. I know. That was another annoying media share because the volume was so low, and I had to quickly rip it and then open it in Adobe Premiere and boost the volume, and it still was low. So I'm gonna fix that in post, as they say. What is it with Australia? Like, answer me this question for somebody in Australia, because PCL, Perry specifically, has a lot of Australian fans. Like, there's Australian fans that reach out all the time. We love Perry. Can Perry come to Australia? Or we're going to come. Whatever the PCL live event is, we're in Australia, we're going to come. Is something about, and I'm genuinely curious about this, is it something about comedy in Australia or comedic sensibilities in Australia that Perry appeals to? Because it does seem like a lot of Australians gravitate to Perry very well. Randomly stumbled upon on YouTube. Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing too. We're rapidly we're getting subscribers on YouTube, and everybody that I've talked to, or not that I've talked to personally, like I had this goal. I want to get 7,772 subscribers on YouTube, just because that would be a fun screenshot, right? 7,772. Right now, as of this moment, we're at 7,624. We're not far away. We can theoretically get there in a week. I know a lot of people watch and I don't subscribe, and I hate to be one of those people. I can't stand, because I watch a lot of YouTube, and I hate when people are bashing you over the head, like, be sure to like and subscribe. Hey, if you like what you see, smash that like button and subscribe. I just think that's a given. If you like what you're watching, you're going to like and subscribe. But please, like and subscribe. I want to get it up there. But past the 7,702 subscribers, getting to 10,000 is a big thing. Is a big deal. And that, once you get past the 10,000 mark, then you do get pushed out as for more recommendations, because like it's almost like, hey, listen, you've made it to 10,000. Obviously, you've got this, so YouTube will help you. The thing that hampers us is we always get demonetized because of language and copyright and various other things, so we don't get pushed as other streams do. I could probably hack it, put better thumbnails out there or whatever, but it's a lot of work. Jake says, I love this stream. Let me ask you a question. How can you handle Perry? I know Perry can sometimes be a pain in the caboose, but how do I handle him? I don't have an easy answer for that. Tonight killed me. Tonight killed me. If I wasn't on with you guys, I'd be drinking right now. Like, honestly, I would. I'm not that tired, and I'm kind of fried. And I kind of went through, there was a lot of versions, like when I said earlier, there was a lot of versions of Perry tonight. There was also a lot of versions of me tonight. I thought I was rolling really good early on in the stream, and I was kind of laid back and just kind of letting him do his thing. And then he goes crazy, he gets low energy, and I have to come in and be more of a director, And a lot of times I'm just like in his ear, and I'll just be like, all right, Perry, don't freak out. There's something coming up, but I don't dart away. I won't tell him what it is, but I need you to pay attention, or I'll remind him of something that's coming up. That's something that's playing. Like, oh, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, this is this. And when he's brain dead mode, I'll have to almost remind him of what he's doing. I felt there was a period where I was doing that more than I usually have to. And it was fatiguing. That's fatiguing to me, because that wears me out. If I have to be, I can't be, especially on Mondays, I can't be that locked into his kind of like everything that comes in, because I'm doing other things. And when I have to pay attention for his behalf, it wears me out. But, I'm beyond that now. Australians love slinging crap at each other and talking crap. Okay, yeah. I kind of get that. I kind of get that the Australian mentality is kind of like, they got a really high tolerance for abrasive comedy or something that's a little different. So that's cool. I'm from Australia, so I missed the early morning one the other day. Started like 3 a.m. for me. I know that 9 a.m. is a bad start for Australia. You can't win with every time zone with that, unfortunately. Drunk Tom, you want to see that? Yeah. I was drunk my birthday weekend, but it's rare for me these days. I don't like getting drunk. I don't enjoy it. I like getting a little buzz, but I don't like going past that. Do I smoke? No, I don't smoke. I've never been a smoker, never been a cigarette smoker, and I don't smoke weed. Not knocking anybody who does. It's not for me. I have never gotten past the concept of willfully inhaling smoke into my body. Like it's like, to me, that's as natural as drinking gasoline. I don't get it, but I get other people that are into it. I do edibles mainly to help me sleep every now and again, but it gives me too much of a dry mouth and I get a little hangover. Why can't I do 2 evening streams? We can, but we just don't want to be honest with you. This takes a lot out of me. This Monday night stream, let me just explain this. The Monday night stream is a 24-hour cycle for me personally. It goes on now, and I'll sign off here in a little bit. I'll get a little bit of sleep, but I won't get a lot of sleep. And I'll be in zombie mode tomorrow. And I got to get up. Teddy, I have to walk him. His bus comes at 8:30 in the morning, my time, which is, boy, I'm looking at the clock. It's going to be here before I know it. It's a little over 3 hours from now. And I put him on the bus, and then I'll lay back in bed a little bit on Tuesdays because I adjust my schedule on Tuesdays. I'll watch a little YouTube. I'll zone out. I'll get up. I'll take a shower, and whatever. And then I'll start working on the stream. Whereas, and by I mean work, I mean I got to easy cut and paste stuff, cut and clip stuff out, like the opening, all the music that plays in the opening. Cut that out. Fix some audio problems. Fix some music or whatever, fix the, and then I got to make different versions of it. Like, here's the version for Patreon that has the full stream plus this after hours BS. And then I'll make another version that's just the stream. And then another version that's just after hours. And I'll put that on my channel. And that gets uploaded whenever, much down the road. But anyway, that first pass, and if there's a volume issue or whatever, I'll fix that. I know I left my mic open a little bit tonight where I'm like, all right, Perry, this is this person. This, I'll feed him a line to kind of get him going when he's low energy. I'll definitely cut that out. Perry saying tonight that he was going to, I wasn't even listening because he was so crazy. He was he was threatening to murder people. He called Caitlyn Jenner an it. He said something about suicide. I'll cut that stuff out. Little things like that. I'll fix the ring cam. The ring cam wasn't working, so I'll go in to the ring camera footage and I'll put it back in. Oh, God damn it. I forgot him to get his camera to... I got to write a note to myself because he did that camera thing where he dunked the statue in the thing, so I need his video tomorrow. So I'll get that video and I'll integrate it into the stream. I'll cut out all his pee breaks. And mainly because I can't leave the music up. So anyway, all that stuff. And then that gets encoded. I've recently switched editing programs to all editors out there to DaVinci Resolve, which is free. There's also a paid version that offers a little bit more. I'm a Premiere user and I'm trying to get that working. I might call. That might be the last thing I do. I might call him and ask him to do that because you know what? Screw him. He was a jerk tonight, and the swirly. So anyway, DaVinci Resolve, I'm kind of teaching myself and watching YouTube videos. So I'm trying to do the streams in there. streams, trying to edit the streams in there, and the processing's a little quicker, but it still takes a long time. This is I don't even know how many hours get out because it's broken in two at this point. It's a long time to encode that. It's in high definition. It's not 4K. If this was 4K, forget about it. It's 720p. So that takes a long time to encode in the video editor, even after hours of, however long it takes me to fiddle around with it. And, well, I'm not running DaVinci on a laptop. I'm running it on a PC, a desktop PC, so that's good. And then, so the encoding is a little better, but it takes a long time, and then the uploading to YouTube takes forever. And then that's finally ready, and then I post, and then I make an audio version for Patreon. Anyway, it takes a long time. So when I say it's a 24-hour process, by the time it's all said and done, if I'm lucky, it's posted and ready by like 8 p.m. tomorrow. Sometimes it's quicker if it's easy. 8 p.m. tomorrow, and that's a 24-hour cycle. And I'm still feeling like a zombie. So anyway, that's my long way around to say there's no way I'm doing 2 nights anymore. And Jim can't do it either. Jim has kids. Jim is a little easier on Monday nights because he can sleep in a little bit. But it's just easier on us, the PCL staff. Maybe, and again, I'm not saying, I'm never going to say never. We might go back to, whatever, 2 nights, whatever. But the 9 a.m. gives a different crowd. It's a different people. I've kind of christened the Friday morning stream as, and I joke with Jim about this, I'm like, that's officially the 92 stream. Because there's a lot of new people that watch at the morning streams on Friday, and the majority of the tip comments that come in are 92 related. And it's just like, and nothing wrong with that, but it's like definitely 92 heavy on Friday. So it's just different. You get a different crowd. A lot of Europeans are happy with it, so we'll see. I am going to call him, though. TomB, what would it take for me to snowboard with Perry? If I was out there, I would go with him. I would try. I've never snowboarded in my life. I don't even like skiing. What happened in 92? Well, we'll get Perry to tell it sometime. Jake says, I lost my dad on February 7, 2020 because of liver. Oh, yeah, I'm very sorry to hear about that, Jake, again. I know you're telling that to somebody else, but I'm just seeing it as it comes in. I'm catching up on Stiffy's comment from earlier with the Australians. Australian humor is 95% teasing our mates. Okay, I totally get that. I get that. So what's the best time for a PCL stream to start for Australia? Would it be like Saturday at like 5 a.m. or something like that? Would that be prime time? I'm not sure why, Tom. I just find Perry's overreactions and pureades absolute hilarious. His genuine gullibility and disorientation with life is so unique. I get it. Perry is very unique. That's the thing that makes us successful. Nobody's tuning in for me. I know you guys are hanging out, listening to me ramble, but Perry is a genuine article. He is unique. He is just so amazing, and it also makes him frustrating. I will say my favorite new thing is the thing where he's trying to quiet his rage, and it looks like the veins are going to pop out of his neck, and he's like gritting his teeth because he's trying not to wake up his neighbor. I can't even do it now. My voice is kind of fried, but he's like, son of a bitch, son of a bitch. Like when he's that's a new, and I do like that. What are Perry's hobbies besides getting scammed by fake girls or fake snowboarding? Skateboarding. That's his hobby, and that's what it is. It's a child's hobby. That's it. Good morning, Bobby the Brain Heenan, who says, I fell asleep listening and almost went back to sleep because you're still on. Good morning. Best time for Australia is 5 p.m. Friday, U.S. time Pacific. Okay, well, that's not far off on Mondays. And I'm also amenable to possibly, I'm not doing this anytime soon, but possibly we can do a Monday morning stream and a Friday night stream. Like that could happen too. Like that could be swapped. But to be honest with you, I do enjoy having the rest of Friday free after the stream. So that it would take a lot. That would take a lot to do that. We'll see. But this stream, Perry has slowly been getting more popular, and definitely a lot of new people are coming on board. So we'll see what happens. I know this is a weird question. How did I meet Perry? I've told that endlessly. I'm sure somebody can fill you in on that. Oh, Soviet Goat says, TomB met Perry through MySpace. That's true. That's the very abbreviated version. Somebody, Safety First says, I quit weed 6 months ago after 20 years of everyday, daily, all-day use. See, that's the thing. Now, I have known people, and I have formerly worked with people that also might have known Perry, that have had an all-day, everyday pot habit. And let me just tell you, it is not good. Maybe some people can handle it. Most people can't. And it really messes people, and I think changes people for the worst. So that's good for you that you got off that. That's rough. Mohawk said, this has been a painful process. 7+ years of smoking heavy every day. It's all I think about anymore, and it's very hard not to be high. Everything is boring, possibly due to ADHD, but I've relied on drugs and weed way too much to get back to it. Hey, you know what? Good for you. That's awesome. Seriously, you deserve a round of applause for that. I have never been addicted to anything. So it's hard for me to understand it, but I get it. Will Perry stream Nintendo games? Yes, almost exclusively. Like, he has a Switch that I got him. I did buy some games. I know Mario Day is coming up this week, so there's going to be a lot of sales. And I hesitate on buying games that are like Super Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, because I just can't see him grasping that concept. And the thing is, I've seen him play a couple of games, like just beta testing, and a lot of it he's just aimless and like walking around. And maybe that's interesting to people, because I know there's going to be comments that come in and interrupt the gameplay, but it'll be cool to see him try to get into it. Like, I want to see him play like really important games in gaming history. Pac-Man, not so much Donkey Kong, because that's just an impossible game and he's never going to do that. Super Mario Brothers, the first one. Super Mario World, Doom. Like, I'd like to see him play Doom. Things where there's kind of more of an open world exploration where he can kind of wander off and do whatever. Grand Theft Auto. I did buy the Grand Theft Auto trilogy on Switch that he has. He has the I forget what else I put on his Switch. I bought some games. The Tony Hawk remasters, the skateboarding games, and what else? And he has all the what do they call the Nintendo Online thing? So he has also the NES, N64, Genesis, Super Nintendo, anything the online service has, he'll have that too. So you can play GoldenEye. They just put GoldenEye, although GoldenEye is atrocious on Nintendo right now on the Switch, the online version. It's unplayable. Like I played it. I played it the night before my mom passed away, because that's when it came out. And I tried to just play it to just kind of distract myself, because I loved playing GoldenEye when it was originally out. And it's like the controllers are just so wonky. You got to like hack the controllers to play it. I don't have the patience for that. I know it's different on Xbox. Xbox, they got it right. It's like modern controllers. I don't have an Xbox, but it's like unplayable to me. But yeah, there's a lot of games. I like Mario Kart 8 and all that. There's a lot of little things. Basic games. Asteroids, Pac-Man, real basic stuff we're going to start out with. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe the streams are an hour long, and maybe it's, frustrating. I could see him getting mad at comments coming in. Like, he could be, trying to do something. Stop interrupting me. I'm playing this, you mother effer. Stuff like that. He got really mad when he was playing Pac-Man And it was just me and him, and I was just kind of watching him play, and he was just playing off an emulator on the computer, and it was interesting. Jake says, I will ask again when I build up my channel. Thank you for the tips, Tom. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Great community. Yeah, you're welcome, Jake. And by the way, good luck with your channel. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's hard. It's hard being a content creator. It's hard doing this. It's not that hard doing this. You know, like this is different. Like what we're doing now. We're just hanging out. But it's not easy. Putting yourself out there is not easy. You put yourself out there. It's like doing stand-up comedy, and I always give Perry credit for this because it takes a lot of effort to put yourself out there. And I'm not a stand-up comic fan, but not anymore. Like all the people that I loved are dead now, you know, that I would possibly be into. But I still respect anybody that puts themselves out there, whether it's a stream, you know, or just putting out a YouTube channel. It's not easy. It's hard. So, you know, because you're putting yourself out there and you're, you know, to everybody, and you're getting like, you know, you're leaving yourself susceptible. Like I've been on, like just looking into certain things. Like Perry was on that Steel Toe show the other day, and I don't know anything about that show, the Steel Toe Morning Show, but the guy's very nice, and he asked about Perry a long time ago, like early December, before Perry got involved with the Shuley Network or Uncle Rico or any of that, and I just held it off. I was like, okay, we'll see. And then, you know, and then the Shuley thing happened. I said, hey, Perry's going to do this, but, you know, and I got some things going on, but I'll get back to you. And I felt like I owed it to like, hey, here I am. We're back now. You can go on the show. But man, like there is some people in that, like, I don't know, fans or detractors of Steel, and everybody has detractors. That's the way it's going to go. You put yourself out there, you're going to get, you know, whatever name you want to label them. Trolls, detractors, people that hate you, people that don't like what you're doing, whatever. You're going to have them, you know. Everybody does. And this guy's, that Steel, oh my God, like somebody was like really hating on Perry for going on there, like sending him messages. I'm done with you, Perry. You're going to pay for going on that show. They're racist and they're terrible. And then I was just looking at some and I don't know, I'm not involved, but like I was looking at, like there's a whole thing with like Bob Levy and like that and like somebody else and like Patrick Melton somehow. I don't know. I just saw like, who I only know as the numero uno Red Bar fool is now somehow involved going back, and I was just like, wow, this is too much. This is just too much for my brain. I gotta stop. But you know, I don't know. It's just whatever. Yeah, that's a good thing. To fail is to give up. You can't stop doing it for years, but as long as you come back to it, you know what? Yeah. I went bipolar on a Kevin Brennan and Chad Zumach yesterday. I don't know who Chad Zumach is. I really don't. I know the name because Kumia mentions him, and I don't know him, and I'm not going to pretend to know who it is. I'm lucky as F to never been addicted to a substance. Please don't start. Yeah, I know. I remember like trying to smoke a cigarette like when I was like in the 8th grade with like a friend, and I just hated it because my mom smoked early on. She quit, thank God, but I always hated it. I just couldn't stand the smell of it. I never thought it looked cool, except on like old school like pinup models maybe, and that aesthetic. But in real life, I never thought it was cool. So no, I never did that. And alcohol, I never had a thing for like addicted to getting drunk or anything. Thank God I never had that. Don't have any kind of gambling addiction, so I'm very thankful for that. Be careful with Nintendo. They flag a lot of videos on YouTube. They're very protective of their brand. Yeah, I know, but because I know Nintendo is insane with their copyright stuff, and they strike down Nintendo YouTubers for like showing a trailer of a game that promotes them. And the problem with Nintendo is really Nintendo of America has no power, and they're just a satellite for whatever the old crotchety old guard in Japan are feeding them. And it's that Japan mentality of Nintendo that are like, you know, Nintendo has never been with the times on anything, and it's too bad. They should let Nintendo of America handle anything in North America, including YouTube, and be like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna be cool. You can play this." So, but you can play games, right? Like if Perry's playing like Super Mario Brothers 3 on a Twitch stream, and then we post that to YouTube, is that going to be a problem? Like seriously, like for a 35-year-old game, like, or are we talking more like new games? I don't know. Yeah, I got to look into that because I do want Perry to play a lot of games. Otherwise, it just stays on Twitch, which is annoying because I do want to get it on. Galaga, yes. Doom is satanic. Perry will love it. I know. I'm kind of into him playing Doom for that reason. That'd be cool. Tom, your mom is looking down at you. Well, I hope she wasn't looking down on me a few hours ago when Perry was here. He's not going to be able to handle those games. Just get him Pac-Man. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to work our way. It's going to be training rules with the games. You know, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll do something else. Somebody said, did I ever hook up my Nintendo 64? No. No, I never did. There's a chip that you have to get to modify your N64 that gives it an HDMI port. And it's just been notoriously sold out. And I kind of just gave up on it. I will. Like I gave up on my whole media room thing. I will get back to it at some point. It's just not been a priority. I think he will need extra controllers for the ones he eventually breaks. Yeah, I think I sent him 2 Pro controllers, if memory serves. I think he has 2 Pro controllers. Because I want like Tony Hawk and like Garrett to come over and they can play games together. Like, you know, Super Smash Brothers or whatever. You know? That would be cool. He needs to play a gambling game, and at the end of the stream, he's lost tens of thousands and tell him it was real money straight from his account. That would be funny. I like that idea, Soviet Goat. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. I hate messing around with him and money. Like I'll say to him, like, "Hey, if you end it now, you're not going to get paid," which is not true. I'm gonna pay. I'm not a jerk. I'm not gonna hold him out for getting his money. You know, I can't stop it, by the way, because a lot of the things that just go directly to him anyway. So I have no control over it. It's gonna go to him no matter what. But I do say to him sometimes, "Hey Perry, you walk," like when he was getting really bad. I was like, "Hey Perry, you're not gonna get paid for tonight." You know, and that's how it goes. Perry hates money as much as he hates America. I know it seems like that on the stream. There'll be a point where I talk to him tomorrow, and he'll be normal, and I'll be like, "Hey, Perry, this and this happened." And he'll be like, I know. I'm sorry. I just bought an HDMI adapter on the NC. Yeah, I know. I don't want the adapter, though, because the adapter, you're still using the analog output. It's just converting to digital. When you get it really modified... And I forget the name of the company that does. There's a really good mod for the N64. We're getting into real like heavy duty geek talk now. But there's a let's see. Let me see what it is, because I just had an alert for it that they're going on sale. I can't think of it right now, but it's a thing where you have to open up the circuitry of the N64 output, and on the output board, all the games are digital on the board, and it gets converted to analog. Because it was working with CRT TVs, because the thing came out in 1996, so there's no digital TVs then. But there's a way to hack that, and there's soldering involved, which is above my head. I have to send it to somebody else to do it. That costs money too. So you can solder it where basically you're intercepting the digital signal and it's going right out through an HDMI port, not converted to analog, and it just looks better. So it looks cleaner. It's still going to look a little dated and blurry as N64 does, but you can also upscale it a little bit, and you're getting a pure digital signal rather than the analog signal, which I just think looks better on modern TVs. Because I'm not that hardcore of a gamer where I'm going to keep around an old tube TV just to play games. I think that's ridiculous. Danko says Perry on Patreon is worth every penny. I agree with that. I think so. Oh, somebody else says I think I'm going to join the Patreon. The normal podcast I watch has died. Time for new content. Yeah. By the way, I work hard on getting content on Patreon that's exclusive to Patreon, like the phone calls. Like there's one from last night. January was a little bit of a slow month, even though I still tried to push out content, but for obvious reasons. But yeah. TomB was kidnapped and raped. Boy, where'd you hear that? That's a little hardcore for. That's a little hardcore for After Hours. Doom is about slaying demons. That is the opposite of satanic. A wholesome Christian game. That's a good way to put it. That's true. The Doom Slayer is against satanic stuff. This may be a stupid question, but have I ever talked about why I feel such a strong responsibility and loyalty to Perry? That's a good question. You work with somebody close enough. Like, now listen, like going back to like Big Three stuff for people that know what that is. I worked with him I talked to him every day, and a lot of times I was pushing storylines that were for the Big Three, and I developed a soft spot for the guy. I genuinely like Perry when he's not being this version of himself. When he's not, obviously he's very easily triggered and stuff like that. But there are times where I just talk to Perry and he's just like sweet and normal, and I like him. And then by the time he lost his disability, or he was getting a government check every month for his disability, and had covered enough to get his rent paid, pay his bills, and like if he was lucky, $200 or $300 to live on for the whole month. Not a lot. He had to really struggle, and he did lose that. That's a whole other story, how he lost it. And when he lost it, I just felt this responsibility, and it was unfortunate that other people he was involved with at the time didn't lift a finger for him. I'll call out Jimmy Kimmel even, who knew exactly what was going on with Perry, that he lost this, and no big deal. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of Jimmy Kimmel, honestly. For that reason, it's a personal thing for me. Like Jimmy, who by the way got very mad at me because he heard me saying something about him on After Hours like a year and change ago, and he was like, "Hey, where's Tom get off saying that I'm a star effer and I ruined Howard Stern?" Because I think that's what I said, and he heard that. And I'm sorry for that, and I would have apologized to him. But I have a lot of resentment to him because he was in a position to fix Perry's plight in a snap. He could have handled it instantly. He could have fixed Perry's situation instantly, and it wouldn't have hurt him at all. And I'm sorry, but I'm just, how did I get to be so lucky in this whole thing of like Big Three, whatever, and I never got any personal benefit out of that. And, how did I get to be so lucky where I'm left holding the bag when Perry's stuff goes to shit? Perry loses disability. Nobody else is lifting a finger. Oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Oh, I don't know. Somebody else says Don hates Perry now. I was on his Discord, which only has like 12 people, and he was hella bitter. Yeah, I mean, but he's an asshole too, honestly. Because when I first told him that Perry lost disability, you know what his answer was? And I could probably play it because I have it recorded, because I was just getting off the phone with Perry, who was being recorded, and I said, "Oh, Perry's lost disability. It's really bad. We're gonna need to do something." He's like, "I don't give a shit. Fuck him." Yeah, because it was at a time where there was no Big Three stuff going on. There was no like stuff. That was always another thing, like getting him to want to do Big Three. It was like pulling teeth. He loved to keep Perry away from the fan base. Loved it. Got off on it. Whenever there was a big thing, okay, well, we're shutting down now. No one's communicating with Perry. Make sure he's off social media. Make sure nobody sees or hears from Perry unless I deem it, thing. That was always a bullshit thing. But I went along with it. And in hindsight, I regret going along with it. But anyway, he said he didn't give a shit. I said, well, he can go homeless. Let him go homeless. Fuck him. I hate him. Okay, great. Thank you for that. But then, word gets to the almighty Jimmy Kimmel, who has the ability to wave a magic wand and solve Perry's problems instantly. Instantly. Give him a job. Give him a job title. You know, that you just pay him. Put him in a thing. What about Mole? You know, Mole has his own thing. I like Mole. I have a very good relationship with Mole. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Mole. I think Mole's a genius. I think Mole's brilliant. But no, he didn't offer anything financially. But Mole has kids. Mole's putting kids through college and stuff. You know, but I really got resentful because even at the same time, Jimmy, whenever it suited him, wanted to use Perry. So, and I probably said this before, but there was this movie that Saoirse Ronan was in called Brooklyn or something like that, and she was nominated for an Academy Award. And Jimmy wanted... She was a Perry fan. She was a Windy City Heat Perry fan. And Jimmy wanted to do something nice for her, so he wanted the big three and Perry to give her a nice little private video shout out. So he called Perry down to Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I'm the one who had to facilitate that. And this is at a time too, and there's not a lot going on. He's like struggling. I'm paying for his stuff. Perry had to get his tank filled with gas. Guess who had to pay for that? Me. So he drives all the way down to Jimmy Kimmel Live. They do it on the parking lot there. This whole private message for this celebrity that's a fan, that's a friend of Jimmy's, and he wants to do it for her. Could he throw Perry $100 for that? Could he throw Perry anything? Could he pay for his gas at least? Nothing. Zero. And when I asked about it, I was made to look like an asshole. Like, how dare I ask that Perry gets compensated to drive all the way from his apartment to, you know, Hollywood to do this video that no one's ever going to see. It's just for this woman. I have it somewhere. Maybe I'll play it on an after hours. I have it somewhere. And it's not like it's like copyright or thing. I could play it anytime I want. Because by the way, guess who had to put it together? Me. No pay for that at all. And it was just really annoying. And he's done stuff like that before. The other thing that I've talked about is he again, another celebrity friend of his is that what's her name? Zooey Deschanel, who did the show A New Girl, and she was a Perry fan, or is a Perry fan. I don't know, whatever. Maybe she's not now. And she had a TV show, The New Girl, and this is going back. I don't know what year this was. I don't know if it was. I really don't understand. I don't know if this was before or after he lost his disability, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, he was still struggling. So they'd have this whole email chain, and they do, by the way. They still do. There's all these, like, Jimmy's friends still watch that. I'll tell you who they are, because I don't care. Bill Hader, Jimmy's cousin Sal, Johnny Knoxville, and Jimmy, and maybe a couple other people I can't think of right now. They're all they all in the text group, and they all talk about PCL and what Perry has done, and oh my God, he did this and this. But not one of them has ever, like, retweeted something PCL or, like, come out and be like, I love PCL. Now, I know Bill Hader's not even on social media, but he's a huge fan, or was up until the last time I got my information. So anyway, but I'm getting off track. So The New Girl TV show, I've never seen it. But, it's Zooey Deschanel is a big Perry fan. And they devised this thing. Oh, let's get Perry to audition for a part on New Girl. And that filters down to me. I'm the one now that has to pitch this to Perry to go audition for a role on New Girl. Now, I thought that this was a good deal for Perry because it was a small part. He played it was like a janitor in the height. I guess the show is she works for a school, so he's a janitor in the school and has, like, I don't even know if he had a line. Maybe he had a line. He must have had a line because he had to go down there and audition. And so we go. So it's a lot. So he goes out, and I mentioned to him, and I feel good about this because I get to be the guy that tells him, "Hey Perry, you have an audition to do this show," and he got so excited. He was like, "Oh my God, this is great!" And I don't even remember if this was at a time where there was, like, because there were so many times where Big 3 content was put on hold because Don didn't want to do it anymore, and he hated Mole and was jealous of Mole and just pulled the whole thing down. So I don't even know. I don't even know. So I don't know what timeline this is in. I don't think there was anything going on though. So it was a big deal for Perry to get this audition. So he goes, it's a network show. He's on it's a network show. So he's going down. He drives down. He has a script. He gets his sides, and he apparently does a great job. I'm not there with him. Obviously, I'm in New York, but I call him on the way there. I call him on the way back. How was it? He was so happy because it was his first audition in a long time, and it was not an extra thing. It was like a part in this show. Now I'm thinking Zooey Deschanel, if she's a fan of Perry, give him this gig, right? Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, why is he even auditioning? Why is he even auditioning? Just put him in the show. Be cool. Put him in the show. So a couple of days go by, and I'm in this email chain now. And the email, I'm not in it. I'm not participating in it, but it gets forwarded to me. Because I'm not privy to get, in this email chain. I'm not cool enough. So, but it gets forwarded to me, and it's the whole gang. It's Jimmy, it's his cousin Sal, it's Don, it's Mole, and it's maybe somebody else.Maybe Knoxville's in there. I don't remember. And Zooey Deschanel is in there, and they're talking about the audition, and they have a video of the audition. I wonder if I still have it. So anyway, and they're goofing on it. Like they're not goofing on it because Perry's bad. Like Zooey Deschanel is laughing like, and I remember her line. If I ever wanted to reach through an email chain and strangle somebody, it was this cunt. And I'm sorry for using that word, but I can't stand her for this reason. She was like, LOL, he's actually really good in the part. It's funny because he actually nails it. But they're just laughing at the audition. Like, oh my God, we got Perry to come down and do this audition for free. And that's all they wanted. They just wanted to see this audition on video and never give him anything. They had no intention. She had no intention. And by the way, she was like a producer on that show. It was her show. She had the power to be like, listen, this guy, he's this role. He's this janitor in this episode. And it was just like, it was all there so they can go on their email chain and share this video of his audition, and that's it. That's all it was. And then I had to be the one to tell Perry that it wasn't going to happen. This wasn't going to happen. There was no role. It was, didn't happen. And I remember seeing the episode when it came out. I think I fast forwarded to get that up because I had the episode number on the script, and they had some guy playing the part, and I was like, he could have done it. And they're like, so fuck you, Jimmy, fuck you, because you have worked with Perry a long time, knew Perry a long time, and you could have helped him out tremendously in his time of need, and you knew that I was carrying the bag, and you're just fine with that. It's totally cool. And then things like that, it's like, that's bullshit. Sorry, give him that part. So I am beyond happy now the way things turned out, and the fact that Perry was on a movie set a couple of weeks ago doing a movie and a real part, the fact that Perry has auditions for other things, the fact that he just recorded voiceover for a video game, a real video game, the fact that Perry was in Smiling Friends, is getting other offers and will continue to get other offers, it makes me not only so gratified and happy for Perry, happy for the way things turned out, but also a big FU to the people that could have helped him back then and didn't. So, big, when Perry does the whole thing with his arm where he gives the FU, Jimmy Kimmel. I'm just going to say it, FU. And I hope the Academy Awards is a huge disaster, because if you're hosting, it will be. So I don't care. And I know people got mad at me. Like, remember when Mole called in on New Year's and he said, "Oh, people are mad at you, Tom." That was the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, because they were all mad at me that I said that about Jimmy Kimmel. But I don't give a fuck. I really don't. What has he done for me? He's never put any change in my cup. So I don't care. I really don't. But I do care about Perry, and I'm glad he's in a good place now. And you know what? The truth is, if those people would have stepped up at the time, we wouldn't be doing this now. There would be no PCL. There would be no reason for it. Because PCL, again, I've said this to him, blue in the face, was started out of complete desperation. Because I couldn't do it anymore. I could not support him anymore. And I'm so glad that he has this now, and even though he fights against it, I'm glad that he has. I'm glad that he has this, and that's it. That's it. So I'm really glad at the success that Perry's had, because I feel like it's earned. It's organic now, and it's like he got smiling friends not because of anything he did Big 3, because of what he did here on Perry Caravello Live. The same thing with this movie that he did. He was hired for that job because of Perry Caravello Live, and it's been very hard work. Myself, Jim, honestly, the two of us, and I'll throw a shout out to Scott, who's very busy, but Scott's kind of like the executive producer of PCL, and still is a huge support system for me. That's where it started. He can be mad at me all he wants, and I know Don hates my guts because, we found a way to make Perry interesting without his involvement, and he doesn't like when, he never liked it when Perry was doing anything where he couldn't crowbar himself into. Even though at the time it started, I was more than willing to do both. And by both, I mean Big 3 and PCL at the same time. Even though I got nothing out of, I got nothing out of Big 3. Quite the opposite, in fact. It was always a money pit. Perry isn't afraid to kiss or fight anyone. That's true. That's true. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that. I'm not bitter about, I don't mean to. I probably went a little overboard there. But I do carry that with me. I do carry that resentment with me, that none of those people who were in a far better position than I was to help Perry never lifted a finger and knew all about it. It was not a secret that Perry was in dire straits. It was not a secret that Perry was steps away from living in the streets. That was not a secret, but they were just it was okay, for them to, be there. Those early streams where Don and Mo called in were the lowlights of the stream. You know what? I agree to a point, because they just didn't know. They didn't know the beats of a live stream. To be fair, I think it could have been worked a little differently. But there was definitely one that was funnier than the other. So yeah. Anyway, that's my Jimmy thing. I definitely have resentment there. I roll my eyes whenever I see, oh, what a good guy he is. Oh, look at that. He's just so great the way he's doing that. And by the way, like I like him in some ways. Like I felt really bad when his son was born and had like that heart problem. Like that was like heartbreaking, and I really rooted for his son and him in a way, humiliating. And he just comes off as so disingenuous and whatever. He doesn't like me, and you know what? The feeling's mutual. And it was kind of presented to me like, oh, you don't want Jimmy being mad at you. He holds a grudge, and there might be one day where you guys are looking for Jimmy to help you. Like, when is that going to be? He's had all this time to help Perry. He's never done it. Him and his little celebrity buddies treat Perry, anything Perry, not just PCL, anything Perry, as it's their little private speakeasy, and they would never publicly. Jimmy doesn't even follow Perry on Twitter. Of course not, because he has an image to protect. But what? Oh, like all of a sudden he's going to come out of the woodwork like, hey Perry, I got this great deal for you. I'm producing this game show and I want you to be the host. Give me a break. Danko says, thank you, Tom, for giving us access to Perry and saving his life. Well, you're welcome. That's another thing Don always hated, by the way. He hated fans having access to Perry. And I was always tasked to be the bad guy where, like, can you write this guy and tell him to F off? Or can you post something and tell this guy to F off? And I would always do it because I didn't care what people thought of me. I still don't. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll be the bad guy. I'll go out and I'll write this guy. Like, there were some fans, like, he hated them because maybe they wrote in a good shout out or something like that, or created a good storyline, like the NAMBLA thing or whatever. And he just hated that somebody else was getting credit for something and he wasn't. Hated hated fan interaction. So this is his worst nightmare. PCL is his worst nightmare. So no wonder why he's so bitter about it, because this is his worst nightmare. His worst nightmare is fans having access to Perry and engaging with Perry and being good at it, being really good at it, being talented and funny, which all of you are. He hated that. Crowdsource idea says, there we go. Get Perry on Kimmel so we could all show up and cheer Perry and boo everybody else. Yeah, great idea. Don knew that he wasn't the talent equation. He wanted to hide Perry away to create the illusion that he was interesting. That's very true. And I don't want to go on a whole bashing thing, but there's clips that you can see. Okay, let me just tell you. Look at the clip of the pool incident, which is on YouTube. It's been played on here before. We're at the pool party, and that was just a miserable period because Don and Mole were not even on speaking terms. For another reason, like Don was going to cancel that. He hated being there. He hated any time Mole got a laugh. He made it miserable. But anyway, so look at the clip of when Perry punches me in the side of the head, and it was a very organic thing. I remember Mole pushed me in the pool and gave me a little bit of a heads up that he was going to do it, so I didn't have like anything valuable on me, and I went along with it because it was funny. Boom, push me in, and the whole thing as you see it on the video, Perry punches me in the head, and then you hear Don yelling out. He's desperate to get my attention because everybody's loving, everybody's laughing, but he's not involved, and he's desperate to get everybody's attention. He's screaming at me, and he had some stupid bit where, I don't know, he had like a cup of like Kathy Griffin's urine, and he developed this thing where I was into urine drinking, which I always thought was repulsive, but it was his gag. So and he was just screaming about it. Get Tom, make sure, and it was just like, you could just see how desperate for the attention he had. It just kind of ruined it. Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can look it up. I'd play it if I had it, but I don't have it at my hand. Part of the beauty of the stream is the fact that Perry doesn't want to be there at all. Yeah, that's kind of true. Danko says, PCL is something to be proud of. I know I'm proud to see it unfold. Thank you. I'm proud of it too. Did I hear that Don had another falling out with Mole? What other falling out? No, I didn't hear that, but Don also hated Mole because Mole liked PCL. Mole liked PCL. When Mole called into PCL last New Year's, he hated it. He went crazy on him. So as far as I heard. So yeah, no, they've always had not Mole, by the way, just Don. Just didn't like it. I didn't like Mole getting more attention. Hates when fans say Mole's a genius or anything like that. Can't stand it. So it's unfortunate. But yeah, no, I didn't hear that. I don't keep up. I don't think about him at all. He takes up no headspace in my brain. I don't think about him at all. I only bring him up now because a couple of people were mentioning his name and said this or that. I don't think about him. I feel, honestly, to be honest with you, I feel sorry for him. I really do. I feel sorry for him. I do think he's a bad guy, but I do feel sorry for him. And he's one of these people that just can't get out of. He can't get out of his own way. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So, yeah, I don't know. Just being honest. Oh, Mole blamed Don for breaking up the big three. Well, guess what? He's right. That's exactly who broke up the big three. It wasn't me, and it sure as hell wasn't Perry, and it sure as hell wasn't Mole. So who is the odd person out there? I sorted out well. Most people would have been scared of him for no good reason. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm certainly not going to be scared of Jimmy Kimmel. He's got his own problems, believe me. The sun is rising on the east as it's 6 a.m. I know. I know. I'm gonna wrap up. I've said I've given a lot on this one. This was a long roller coaster ride of a night for me. I really had a hard time with Perry to the point where I wanted to quit. I really did. I really do wish like either Jim or Garrett can sub in and just do what I do, but that would take a lot of training and stuff. Is Don keeping all the big three premium funds that are generated? I have no idea. I know that Perry doesn't get any. He pay. I don't. Oh, and he doesn't pay Mole either. I know that. Mole doesn't care, but he doesn't pay Mole. I know that for a fact. So maybe he pays his alleged girlfriend, and maybe he pays like the guy who does the editing for him. But I mean, Perry's never got. I never got paid, and I'll tell you, I should have gotten paid because I'm the guy who edited, co-produced, co-wrote, and performed in the Two Dons, which is probably the only video on there that's worth a damn. And I remember that very well, and develop, and co-wrote, co-produced with Don. He was very good with that too. To give the devil their due, but when it came to and he was also threatening like never putting that out because he knew once he put that out, he had to keep it out for a while and keep the big three going. But he would always threaten, I'm not going to put it out. I'm not going to put it out. It's over. It's over. I'm not doing it. I don't get any respect. It's over. He didn't want to put it out. So then he finally puts it out, the premium thing. And the guy he has editing, very good editor, but had no concept on what the Two Dans was. I did because I co-wrote it, co-produced it. So I had all the raw footage, and at kind of the last minute, I edited it. Like the edit you see is my edit. I edited it because the rough edit that was submitted was awful. It was unwatchable. It didn't get the point at all. It wasn't edited right. Didn't have all the beat. Didn't have the right moments in it. And I hunkered down. And this is like October, November 2019. And I spent 2 straight weeks. And this is before PCL. It was before Perry even went on OnlyFans. Maybe it was around the same time. It was definitely maybe OnlyFans, definitely not Twitch. And I just hunkered down and I edited the crap out of it. Now, by the way, with Don, by the way, I would call him and he had good editing sensibilities, very good. Where okay, cut this out, cut this guy out, let's do that. And I would show him, and I know he didn't like the fact that I took it over at the last minute, but I did it for the betterment of the thing, because the way he was going to put it out, it was garbage. He didn't want Mole to have any input, but I did call Mole, and then him and I went through it. I did that without telling Don, because I wanted Mole to have an input in it because he's Mole, and Mole had some very good suggestions on. Oh, you should. Do you have another coverage for this shot? Cut this part out. Tighten this up. Brilliant, really good. Made it even better. And then he said, just take the credit for that. You say that you did that, and then go back down. And I did. And because if Don found out that he was involved, he probably would have torpedoed the whole thing. So I did, and I edited the whole thing. I did a sound mix, and then I got a fan, to shout out to Matt, who also does the theme for PCL. He did the soundtrack at the last minute, and was brilliant. And then it put the whole thing together. Everybody was really proud of it, and then it was right then. Then PCL started, and then that's when everything went off the rails. And Don just hated my guts, and he was like, you took over that Two Dons. You had no business taking over that Two Dans edit, or whatever the hell it was called. You just took, and I was like, really? Like, you're going to say that I don't have any credit for that. But this is the first time I'm saying that I edited it, because I never said that. I never came out and be like, hey, where's my credit or anything like that. I never took any credit for it because I just wanted it to be a good thing. And that's what I did, everything with Big 3. I just wanted it to be good. I don't need the credit. I just wanted it to be good. So, and then so it was like, I was persona non grata for sure. But anyway, I performed in it. I co-wrote it, co-produced it, and edited it. I think I deserve like maybe $1,000 all in. I thought that was fair. I never got any money for that. Whatever. So, but Perry is more the figurehead. He got paid a couple of times early on, begrudgingly, by the way, and then none. So that's a long way to answer who gets paid. I don't know. I don't even know who's still subscribed to that. I can't imagine they have many people who even subscribe to it. But I was really proud of that video, and I'm glad it came out, because I remember when we shot it, And it was like so many other things. You're like, man, I hope this sees the light of day because this is really good. And I'm glad it did see the light of day, at least to somebody. So, and I am very proud of it. I'm proud of my work in it. I'm proud of my performance in it. I'm proud of how it came together. You know, I was able to get actual news footage. Like, I really contacted, like, I got the actual news footage that you see in the beginning of it. And I know there's a lot of people that don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, I did. I'm not saying, like, I'm great and I take all the credit for it. You know, there's a lot of people. You know, Don was very good in that, too. He was very good as a producer. And there were times where we worked together very well. And, you know, even though it was definitely... He didn't like the fact that I was taking it over at the last minute. And by the way, I didn't ask. I just did it. Like, I just hunkered down because I saw that rough cut and I was like, I'm doing this myself. And I'm not asking. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. And I did it. And I'm glad I did. And it was a tough phone call. And I was like, listen, I'm taking over. I'm doing the editing and we're going to go through it and you're going to see it and you're going to like it. And he begrudgingly agreed. And I'm glad I did that. I really am, because I am proud of it. I think it's a good piece. It really is. So, you know, that's it. But I never got paid for that. And at this point, you know, of course, I've long since given up that ghost that I would ever get. God forbid, you know. But Perry doesn't get paid for that at all. Not a dime. Even the last merch drop they did, which was like, I don't know, 2 years ago now, Perry never got any of that either. So that's fine. But that's not the reason Perry doesn't work with them. That's not the reason there's no Big Three. The real reason there's no Big Three is Don. Don didn't want to do it. Don got mad at PCL. Don got mad that Perry was doing well. He was even mad when Perry got on Cameo before there even was a PCL. He was mad that Perry was on Cameo, earning some money and having the fan interaction on Cameo, because people started posting their cameos. When Perry first got on Cameo, it was like an explosion. People that knew Perry, they was like, "Oh my God!" Like, and he hated that. Like, he was jealous of it. And then asked me if I could get him on Cameo. Then I begrudgingly talked to the Cameo people and got him on Cameo. So I don't know how well he's doing on there. But whatever. I could go on. But I won't. That's it. Really, there's really nothing else. That's it. I mean, and honestly, this is 100% on it. I'm not putting anything on. I'm not like coding it so he comes out a certain way or Jimmy comes out a certain way. I'm telling you the way it is. This is the real, you know, because I know there's other people, like Don has his little minions or like sycophant fans that like try to spread their own narratives and like how things went down. That's how things really went. That's how things really went down. I was there. Okay. I was there. I did it. What happened to the pilot? Well, that's a whole other story. Jimmy helped torpedo that. It's a story for another day, really. But it's a shame because that pilot's good. Not the wedding stuff, but the system stuff's good. The wedding stuff, I think, in my opinion, is crap. But the system stuff's really good. And anybody you're in New York, and I ever get this media room done, you're more than welcome to come over, and I will screen you the pilot. You can watch it here. So I'm going to be a man of honor. Like, by the way, they didn't never copyright it or trademark anything. I could play it right here on After Hours, by the way, and they couldn't do anything. There's no trademark or copyright on it. I could. I'm not going to because I'm a man of my word, and you know, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to like give it out or anything like that. But anybody's in New York, you know, you're in town. When I get my house in order, you want to come over and you want to see it, I'll be more than happy to play it for you because I am proud of that too. When Perry was in the system hearing, you know, I did develop that. I contributed to the writing, and I'm very proud of it. I'm not in it, but I'm very proud of it. Was Mike Judge on Big Three? No, Mike Judge is in the pilot. Mike Judge plays the judge, which is great. No, I'm not going to put it on Patreon because by the way, that would just give them fuel. Like, oh, look what Tom's doing. He's getting. Yeah, I'm never going to do that. Never going to do that. Yeah, Frank saw it. Frank saw it when we screened it that one time. Frank saw it at the Comedy Store. But yeah, and if you want to come over, Frank, you're more than welcome. You can come over. We'll have some drinks. I'll fire up the TV and we can watch it when this room is ever done. Yeah. What pilot? Well, Perry was in a thing called the Big Three podcast, and it was a Big Three pilot many moons ago. If PCL ended today, would Perry be okay financially? Well, yes, but not for the long term. He could probably last. I have to guess in my head, he'd be okay for about 6 months, and then it would get dicey again. And when I say okay, he could pay his bills, have a little bit of money. So that's why I say PCL is really Perry's retirement fund. All the tip comments, all that stuff that comes in, it all goes into his savings account that him and me and his cousin developed. Because if PCL does go away, and it could for any number of reasons, I want him to be sustainable. I want him to take care of himself in more ways than one. But I want him to be able to pay his own bills, because I will not put myself in that situation again where I am the one responsible. You know, especially now, my life's very different now than it was when Perry first lost his disability. I have kids now. You know, I have a spouse. I have family that I have to look after. You know, I just had to pay, along with my dad, to get my mom an emergency hospice care. That killed me financially, to be honest with you. Murdered me, because it was desperate times. And you know, the Medicare that she was on does cover some hospice care, but they were all backed up. To get like private hospice care, which is what she really needed, we had to pay up. We had to pony up. And my dad, you know, wanted to pay all of it, but I insisted, like, listen, this has to happen. So listen, I am not in a good financial spot right now, me personally, but I'm getting along just fine. Believe me, I don't have a handout or anything like that. But you know, I want Perry. I'm not in a position where if things stopped tomorrow, I'm no longer in a position where I could afford to take care of Perry. I had a lot of things that I could work with. I had a money market account, I had stocks and stuff, and I just cashed them all, you know, and like took care of them. Because again, when it first happened, when I mean when Perry first lost his disability, I thought that was going to be a couple of months and that was going to be over. I had no idea it was going to be as long as it was. But yeah, so hearing all the behind the scenes stuff, it sounds like getting my poster signed was an ordeal. Sorry, Tom. Not so much, because I got all those. You're talking about the Windy City Heat posters signed. Those were all signed at a time where, I forget, things were okay maybe. And like I would do things where I would have to beg Don, I'd be like, listen, I need to make money. I need to get money. I can't pay for my own hotel coming out to do this pilot. I had to fly out twice. I can't pay for my own flight round trip, a hotel, which is insanely expensive in LA, twice, 2 separate times, because I had to fly out 2 separate times to do the pilot. And you know, so okay, well, you could put together like a package. So I'd have to like almost do it like under the table, like, okay, well, here's a 6-hour cut of Windy City Heat if you want it. Plus, Don will sign some stuff. Don will give me some secret stuff, you know, rare stuff, and I could sell it for X amount to cover my bills, which barely covered anything. And I still had to pay into the pilot. Like we went over budget we did the system hearing. We shot at this weird location, and we went over time. And the guy was like holding everybody hostage. No, you guys went over time. It was Mole and I that had to pay the guy in cash. Like I think we went over $1,000. I had to go to the ATM. We both had to get cash. We both had to pay $500 each just to let everybody leave, because we went over budget, not over time. You know, over time. We said we were gonna be done by X amount of time. We went over by like 2 hours or whatever. I never got compensated for that, and people chipped in for that. People like that was like a go. It wasn't GoFundMe. It was something else. It was like Fund Anything, some BS thing, and they raised all this money. They raised like $14,000. Where did that money go? I don't know. It never went into the production. That's for damn sure. You know, maybe if I'm being honest, if I'm being generous, maybe $3,000 went into the production, which is everything was done on the cheap. That was another problem. Anyway, I'm getting way too much into the weeds. Into the weeds. Somebody says, Tom, go to bed. I think I'm at this point, I'm going to stay up. I might take a nap later on. I'm going to stay up at this point. I'm not going to stay on the air. I am going to wrap up. Can I speak about the lawsuit with Jimmy and Knoxville? I know about as much of that lawsuit as you do. So no, I really can't. I wasn't really involved with Perry when he did that. That was a Dizak thing. He got in Perry's ear and, you know, convinced him to do that. So no, I don't have any details on the lawsuit. So yeah. somebody out there knows more than me. I guarantee you. Like the mousetrap thing, I don't know. And I know I've spoken to Perry. I get a different version of it from Perry every time too, of course. Perry can always kill stray animals for cash if he needs to. Well, that's good. So, yeah. Anyway, this has been fun. I should probably wrap up. I don't even know if anybody's even listening to this at this point. Got over 100 on Twitch, and over 200 on okay, so it's 300 some people. I still have 300 people listening. This is crazy. I always think After Hours is a live experience if we ever like hang out on After Hours. Yeah. Oh, I gotta call Perry. That's right. I'm gonna call Perry. I'm gonna call Perry, and he's gonna hate my guts. Can I talk about the TV12 News saga? Yeah, that was all great. The TV12 News is a great, news parody account that did great work. Really good stuff. I'm gonna call Perry. He's not. He probably won't answer. All right, hold on. Son of a bitch. He's not gonna like this. All right, whatever. You know what? He's woken me up so many damn times.
Please leave your message for...
Oh, it went straight to voicemail. That's such bull. Straight to voicemail. He turned his phone off. I'll have to get that video tomorrow at some point. Today, I should say. Sorry about that. There was no chance of him coming back. There's no chance of him coming back. I can call his other phone, though. He does have that camera phone. I can call the camera phone. Let me call the camera phone. It's far away, though. It's probably on his desk, and I don't know if he's going to hear it from his bed. Let's see. Never let it be said that I didn't go the extra mile. I'm not going to get him back on. That's not going to happen. This one's going to ring for a while. This is Perry's trap phone. No, he's not on Instagram anymore. He's not going to answer. He might call me back, though. I'm ripped.
Please leave your message.
Yeah, no. All right, well, I tried. I'll stay on for another couple minutes. Can I make his doorbell ring? He doesn't hear the doorbell ring. I do. Like, I had to turn it off. The ring camera is only for our benefit. For the stream's benefit. It has no functional purpose. Somebody can come and ring the bell. He'll never hear it because it's not connected. He doesn't have the Ring app on his phone. It's only for the stream. So, no. Could I upload the After Hours to some channel? I always listen. Yeah, I have it on my channel, like Tom Brennan channel. I have like some of the old ones. Maybe I'll upload like some of the more recent ones. I just can't imagine anybody giving a crap listening to After Hours when it's like not live. Like, I feel like it's a lot. This is my personal opinion. I feel like if we do After Hours, and I mean we, because we're all participating in it, and I feel like it's a thing that we're kind of detoxing from the stream, and we've all, at least caught enough portions of the stream to talk about it, just hang out. I think it's weird, and I don't know. Maybe some people definitely do watch them, but they don't get any views or anything. I don't push them out or anything like that. I don't even really think about them. It's only like I feel it's a live thing after the stream. If you really want to hang out and detox from Perry screaming at you, I think we can hang out and talk about various things. And I would like to do it, like I'd like to do a produce like PCL After Hours, even if it isn't after the stream. Maybe it's just like a podcast with like me, Garrett, and Jim, like on video, like doing like playing clips of PCL, like this is what happened. Maybe we do it like during the week or something like that, and like everybody hangs, and it's just kind of a hang, like something like that. But yeah. Anyway. And I keep it up on Patreon. So like the Patreon version of the stream gets After Hours, and that's to its detriment too, because that means it takes way more time to process and upload and everything like that. So yeah. We could tip you in the future. Well, that would be great. But it's okay. You don't have to tip anything now. I don't know. I feel like I need a month off after tonight. Like tonight was tough. These after hours post shows are good follow up. Watching the older streams, you should definitely upload them. Yeah, my thing was, we were doing a lot of YouTube premieres, and I'm gonna try to get back to more YouTube premieres with PCL. It's just they've been very hard because I'm at a point now where heavy copyright stuff with like the media share stuff. I've talked about that, and I got to just get a handle on that. So right now everything's kind of on Patreon. Every stream we've done is out there, but if you want the past year and a half, you got to be on Patreon. But I kind of like when we do a premiere, like, oh, okay, was there an after hours for this? Okay, I'll post that on my YouTube. But maybe I don't think it really matters. I could just kind of batch upload. They're all sitting there. Like honestly, they're all there uploaded. They're unlisted. I just gotta like upload them. So if people care about that, I will. But I'm not like I would never. I used to be a YouTuber myself. Back what year is this now? Like 10, 12 years ago, I had my own YouTube channel, and I would just do like reviews of stuff like that. It didn't get it. I had over 1,000 subscribers, but I got shut down for copyright. And it was at a time where before the system that we have in place now, where they'll just be like, oh, okay, this is copyrighted, but it just can't be viewed. If you got 3 copyrights, you got your channel completely just shut. It was just gone. That's what happened to me, and it kind of burnt me. It kind of like burned me, and I never did anything again. But I did this podcast with these 2 other guys, separate from that. But anyway, so I never put any real effort into my own channel at all. But if you want to subscribe to it, it's like, I think it's YouTube, Tom Brennan PCL, maybe something like that. I don't even know. But just type in After Hours and you'll find it. PCL After Hours. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll if people actually give a crap, and by people I mean like if just a dozen people care, I'll put it up there. But they don't really get much traction or anything. It's obviously no PCL, but the people that care about hearing this rambling and Q&A stuff, then not every stream has an After Hours. But yeah. PCL is like a Mads kids party, but After Hours is like all the parents having a stiff drink later on. That is about as good of an analogy as you can get, Richard. That's great. Yeah. I love waking up for work and you guys are still on. I know, we're crazy. TomB, aloha from Kona. Oh, aloha to you, Handy. Remember when people would make PCL bits about After Hours and it was so popular? Yeah, I do. That was great. And earned more than PCL. That was funny. Did that piss Perry off? It did. It got really challenging for me because I didn't want to say that was obviously a bit, but at the same time I couldn't have him thinking that I'm robbing him or something like that. So it's one of those things where it went away. I like the bits. There's a rule in comedy where you don't want to overstay your welcome with, and believe me, I know a lot of stuff on PCL is repetitive. That's the nature of the beast. But listen, there was about towards the end of the stream, there was about a handful of tip comments that got played multiple times, and they did that because I kind of scrambled when we went back on, and I had to replay a lot of comments and kind of remember the order from memory, and I think I clicked on some more than once. He answered them differently every time they came on, so it's still even with that, even with the repetitive nature, he does answer it differently, but. I like it when there'll be a reoccurring gag, whatever it is, and then it'll just slowly go away, and then it comes back maybe months later, and it's great again. So maybe the After Hours thing can come back at some point. But I'm glad that it just didn't go on and on and on, because I think sometimes things have an expiration date, and it's hard to know. It's hard to be your own editor. And I know this because I'm terrible at editing myself, in writing or anything else. You got to have a good editor, and sometimes you got to be your own editor and be like, okay, it's time to kind of put the button on this, and leave it here, but with room to return to it at some point. And you never know how Perry's going to take the joke. Exactly. That's good. That's a good way of explaining it. So I missed the last 7 hours of stream. Any chance I could start over? I'm sorry, but no. We had a problem because the stream crapped out on us. The software, at least, and we had to restart. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I'd have to get Perry up, and he turned his phone off. Carl says it's hilarious that Perry still gets infuriated at years-old bits like the pool party stuff. I know. That's one thing that's really never gone away. Tom, have you ever had a Brandy Alexander? No, is that a drink? No, I've never had it. I've never heard of it. So, how did I prepare to synchronize with the JQA calls on Big 3? That's a great question. We did it two ways. We did it like live, meaning like JQA, John and I would be on the phone doing it. And that didn't always work because phone timing is different. So it does, and especially if you're syncing to a song. There was that one, the one in particular that I'm thinking of is the one where we did the Meatloaf song, and that one he had to do on his own. We did it a couple of different ways, but the only way that it really worked is he had to do it straight through, which is incredible how he can do that straight through. And then I did my part separately. And then I mixed the two together. And then I always went, like, you could tell if you listen to some old JQA songs, some of them sound better than others because at least when I would do sometimes I would do a first pass edit on the whole podcast. And then Don would do a more aggressive edit. But I would always want this JQA songs to sound as good as they can. So I'd always get the original karaoke track and just kind of lay it underneath the song to give it a little oomph, give it a little more like, even though it's such a silly thing, but because his recording was always on speakerphone, and I kind of like having and I would have to like get it. I would listen on headphones, and I'd be like mixing it and get like the song, the music bed can't be too loud, can't be too low, but just get it so it sounds like a good song, and it's not as tinny. I would do anything for love. That was it. So I did that on my own. He did it on his own. I mixed and then multi-tracked it, and then spent a lot of time getting it right. And that's how it was. For the regular calls, when I was the few times I was in the studio, I was very nervous about that because there's a script obviously, and if you ever watch you ever watch the video versions, Don makes no shame of it. He's just literally reading from the script, like right in front of Perry. He's just literally following the script. I wanted to memorize it and make it like very organic, and you can ad lib too. Like you just doesn't have to be exact. So I remember driving from San Diego one time, around the time of the pilot, where like it was like when like Quincy was like proposing to me or something like that, and I had a lot of, and I just it was funny. It was kind of like in like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when Rick Dalton is like has the recorder and he's playing it back. I just recorded the line, the script, the way John laid it out, and just memorized it. Like just played it on the whole drive, and it was like a 3.5 hour drive, and I just played it on repeat and just listened to it over and over again. So yeah, how's the weight loss going? Off and on. I did lose a good chunk. By the way, shout out to Garrett. I saw Garrett lost 20 pounds since January 1st, which is amazing. I know Garrett's long asleep by now, but shout out to Garrett. He lost 20 pounds. I was very important to me to lose weight for my mom's services for like the wake and the funeral. And I have a really nice Brooks Brothers suit I really wanted to fit into. And I did crash pretty hard. Like I went on a juice fast, and then and then I was doing also, I'm still doing it. I'm still doing the intermittent fasting where I fast for 16 hours and have an 8-hour eating window. And so I did much thing. So I did lose a lot for where I didn't look like a complete slob in a suit. For my mom, so that was important to me. So it's still I still want to lose more. I look ridiculous as a fat person because I have a very thin frame. Like, you know, and I have that Irish curse where it's like, you just put all your weight in your stomach and you just look ridiculous. And, you know, I like to eat. I like to have fun. I do like to drink. And it's hard reining that in because I developed a lot of bad habits during, you know, the pandemic, which is still going on for Perry. But, you know, it was hard to break those. And also having kids, you know, it's hard to eat healthy when you have kids. And it's hard to eat healthy when you're doing these hours, to be honest with you. But I'm trying. It's really important to me. Look, I'm going to be 50 soon, and I think when you're getting to that, you really got to get yourself in gear. The older you get, the deeper you get into your 40s, because you don't want to lock yourself into that. So I'm really trying hard. I went to the gym today because there was no power, so there was nothing else to do. So I went to the gym, and I got to go to the gym a lot more often. So that's a long answer. It's a battle. It's a battle. I'm trying. Yeah, you got that look fat quickly build. I know, and it's just, yeah, it's horrendous. I can't even look at some videos of myself like on TomB week. That was my heaviest by far, but I can't even look at them because I'm just disgusted with myself. But anyway, by the way, I really try not to fat shame. You know, some people just embrace being like overweight, and that's just what they are, and that's fine. I don't. Yeah, whatever. Except Perry, I would like him to lose some weight. That's why I do feel weird giving him advice on stuff. It's like, who am I to talk? But I would like to get him in line. Richard says, I did alternate day fasting for a year, 8 months. Wow, that's real hardcore discipline. I don't have that level of discipline. Down 65 to 180. Wow, it's awful for 2 weeks, but then it feels normal. Yeah, I mean, when I did the juice fast, what I really liked about it, and I would only do that like once a year, and I might, I think TomB is handsome even with the big tummy. Well, thank you. I don't. But with the juice fast, the juice fast is you just drink this, like, you know, vegetable juice, whatever. And I wasn't going to do the juice myself. I went to a place, they put it together for me, a program. It was 5 days. And first day was hard. I was starving. And then it became normal. And then at the end of it, I realized it kind of reset my metabolism, and I was able to eat much smaller portions and be satisfied. My problem with food is, like, I went to brunch on Sunday, and I like slammed, like, I'm back in the Bloody Mary game. Like, I 4 Bloody Marys with, like, you know, eggs Benedict and stuff, and I find myself being satisfied. Like, okay, I'm satisfied now, but I enjoy this. I'm just gonna keep going. You know, I'm gonna keep finishing this because I'm enjoying it, and that part I gotta say no to more often. Every meal can't be a celebration, you know. Yeah, like, oh, I'm just gonna allow myself to have this. So I'm very, very conscious of that, and I'm trying to be better. But I lack a lot of discipline sometimes, and I do give into where if I've had a hard day, like today, like this is a hard night. This is a hard, boy, oh boy, 12 hours straight. More than that, 12, like, well, at least 12, because of this. It's 6:30 in the morning now, and I, like, 6:30 at night, I was starting to get ready for PCL. My power had just come back on. That's a long stretch, so I could see myself a little like, you know what, go get like a bacon, egg, and cheese thing, like, you know, go for it. You know, you on a roll, you know, like a New York deli, get like 3 eggs on a roll with, like, yeah, whatever. I could see myself. You've earned it. But then you fall into that trap where you're like, I just had a fight with my my significant other. I've been through the mill today. Yeah, I'm gonna treat myself tonight. Oh, you know what? I had to deal with Perry today. He was yelling. I'm gonna treat myself. I find myself in that trap all the time, where I'm like, I deserve this treat. I deserve. You know, I'm gonna have a Mexican Coke with this. Even though it's like pure sugar, and it's terrible to have sugar with a meal. Anyway, I fall into all those things, and I try to conquer them, and I do. You know, and I just, you know, it's a battle. TomB pork roll, Taylor ham and egg is amazing. Absolutely, hardcore. You're right. It's a slice of heaven. If heaven exists on earth, it's in a pork roll, Taylor ham. I mean, yeah. Try the HN down at hard narcotics. I'd have to get into hard narcotics to do that. sometimes not eating works. Just not eating. It's very unhealthy. I remember seeing an interview with like Christian Bale, who's very like method, and he does all these things, and he was in that movie The Machinist, where he like was emaciated in it, and I remember he was doing like the press rounds it was like one of these like dingbat, like dumb, like entertainment journalists, like blonde haired, like dingbat from like Access Hollywood or some show like that, and he was like, "So Christian, how did you lose all the weight for this role? Because it really looks, is it CGI?" And he just was like, "No, I just didn't eat." I was like, "Oh, what do you mean you didn't eat?" He goes, "I didn't eat. I didn't eat for like 2 months." He just didn't eat. And I always think of that, like, man, if that mother effer cannot eat, maybe I can. So, yeah, unhealthy. I don't know. I fall for all these. And by the way, there's some reason social media always knows when you're trying to lose weight, because there's always these like diets, like, oh, try this. This diet says cut carbs. This diet says never cut carbs. This diet says this. I don't know. I don't know. And everybody's body types there. That's another thing too. Like your body type. You gotta do these things based on your body type. Yeah, he lost so much muscle weight and mass he couldn't. Yeah, I mean that was detrimental to him. That's the thing too that bothers me, is I've lost a lot of muscle mass too, and I was in good shape. Really good shape. Like 2017, 18, 19, heading into 20, and I lost a lot of stuff that I worked hard for and spent a lot of money on, because I had a personal trainer. So shout out to everybody shout out to everybody who like loves to eat and loves to have a good time and is trying to lose weight. It's not easy. No, a pork roll is not just bologna. No. And then other people say like, oh, like I went to the gym today. I just did cardio. I just was on the treadmill and like watching stuff on my like tablet. And some people's like, oh, cardio is a waste of time. You're not gonna lose anything. But I don't know. Like I don't know what else to do. I didn't want to go like hit the weights today, so that's what I did. Anyway, Frank lost 50 pounds. Is that because of your medical stuff, or are you on some crazy diet? By the way, how are you doing, Frank? I haven't checked in with you in a while. Carbs and sugar don't make you fat. Okay, is that true? Because I've always heard the opposite, and I love carbs and I love sugar. So if they don't make you fat, then that's good news. Pork roll is the shit. Pork anything. I'm a big pork fan. Like if I like Mexican food, like I'm always going for the carnitas, tacos mainly. Oh, look at that. That's great. Achilles, I was 250 in November, and I'm down to 214 now. Target is 175. God bless you. That's amazing. Good for you. The heaviest I've ever been was 220. And I think I'm like 195 now, which is still not good for me. And my target is also 175, and it's a hard target. It's a hard target. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. More bacon, please. I do like bacon. Somebody else says, I lost 100 pounds as a teen in 9 months. See, that's the thing, too. The younger you are, the easier it is to lose weight. I didn't have any weight problems whatsoever until my 30s, because I always had a fast metabolism, and I was a thin guy. I could eat, and that's why I'm a wreck now, because in my when I was a kid, when I was in my 20s, and very early 30s, I could eat whatever the F I wanted at any time of day. I can drink whatever I wanted, and I never gained a pound. I was fine. There's pictures of me like in my 20s, like rail thin, and then 30s it all caught up. Like boom, like game over. How tall am I? I'm 5'10", and a real 5'10", not the Perry 5'10". I'm not like I used to say. My license says I'm 5'11", which was. I'm not. I'm a little over 5'10", but I'm not 5'11". I'm 5'10". Since the stream crashed and I can't rewatch Did Perry do anything with the mackerel? Well, I could give you the answer that'll steer you towards Patreon. I'd be like, well, sign up for Patreon and watch the whole thing and find out. But I'll just tell you, no, he didn't do anything with the mackerel. Just keep fat under 10 grams a day and watch the fat fall off. Eat unlimited carbs and calories and sugar. Really? Boy, you need to be my new nutrition advisor because I love that. Keep fats under 10 grams a day. If that works, that's great. Did I exercise? Not really. No. I was in my teens and 20s. I mean, I was very active. I'd be out and about. I was in the city a lot. I'd walk around a lot. I played baseball in high school. So I conditioned myself a little bit for that. But no, I was never a gym person really. Does Perry still have that bucket that he got from last Friday? That's a good question. I don't know. I'll ask him. Same thing happened to Morrissey. Oh, with fat. You know what? I got a lot of problems with Morrissey, but he looks pretty good for his age. I will say, he looks better than me. So I'm not one to talk. Don't forget to take good care of yourself too. Yeah, I'm trying. It's hard. I have we all have our weaknesses. My weakness is food. When I'm and that's it's not food. It's indulgence, right? And it goes with anything. When I'm passionate about something, I go all in. If I find a podcast that I'm into, I want to listen to every episode. I want to start from the beginning. If I'm in a new show, I'm diving into it. If I, whatever. And the same thing's true for food. If I get a plate of something and I'm enjoying the company I'm with and we're out, I like it and I want it to keep going. And I don't have that switch where I'm like, okay, you're satisfied now, let's stop eating. If I'm in the right mood, I'm going to keep going. And that's my problem. That's the main problem. Are you seriously still going? Yeah, you know what it was? Here's why I'm still going. It was a really hard one for me tonight. This stream was really difficult to the point where I want to just quit. I don't want to do any more PCL. I want somebody else to do it. I want somebody else to be the TomB. So I needed the extra time to detox because I'm not going to go to bed. And I just want to stay outside. See, okay, somebody mentions Noon. My brother is on Noon, lost 50 pounds. See, that's one of those things that pops up for me on Facebook all the time. And I'm very tempted to try that. Maybe. Noon. Yeah, I've heard good things about Noon. Please, please, please try the Vegas fan thing again. What's the Vegas fan thing? I don't know. Oh, somebody says no, don't try Noon. Drink beer makes me gain weight. I know. See, that's the problem too. I'm a beer drinker primarily, a lager drinker. I like beer. I will have a mixed drink here and again, but I mainly. Oh, you're saying no that I don't want to do PCL on it? No, it's just the way I felt tonight. Tonight was very difficult. Intermittent fast. That's what I've been doing. Now, when you do the intermittent fast, are you restricting yourself in what you eat during the intermittent fast, your period where you eat? So I've been doing intermittent fasting too. So I fast for 16 hours, eat for 8, which can be difficult. But I've also tried to limit carbs on that, and so when you're doing the intermittent fasting, are you also restricting fats or carbs or anything like that? Or are you just eating whatever you want and then fasting? I would, somebody said I would like to see a guest host fail. I'd like to see a guest host succeed. I really would. I'd like to be able, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because they don't have the ability. It's not just dealing with Perry on the stream. I got to talk to him privately and calm him down. And that's why, I fall into the trap sometimes of over directing him, but or I'll feed him something to say or something like that, but it's just to get him out of these slumps, and it gets exhausting. And I as much as I like Jim or Garrett or anything like that, I don't think they could have that power over. Perry's just gonna tell them to F themselves and shut off the computer. I'm lucky that I can keep riding the bull a lot. There were times tonight where I thought he's gonna shut down. This is it. When he just has those major league freakouts, and then I get him back. but it takes a lot out of me. Like I'm fried from it. Absolutely fried. Not tired, but fried. Barry needs to get a set of keys for that Toyota truck. Oh, he was talking about those keys today that he got on mailbag a few weeks ago. I forgot about that. There were so many other things going on. He doesn't know what the car is for, and he wants to know where he could look for it. So yeah, that'd be a good bit. Fans auditioning for TomB's job. I mean, I would be willing to try it. I really would. Sam from Twitch offered when in January. He was such a sweet guy. He was saying like, "Hey, I know you got a lot going on with your mom. To keep some revenue going for Perry, I'd be willing to run the stream if you could walk me through it." And it was just a little too difficult to teach somebody else, but I really appreciated him offering. Like he was even gonna possibly be in LA and run it from there, and I would have been totally up for that. I have no ego about it where I don't want somebody else to do it and then it turns out better, and please take over and do this better. I'll run it behind the scenes. There's a rule of like show business in a way where, well, when it comes to like this kind of stuff, where it's hard to do creative and production at the same time, and it really is. It's very difficult. You want to be one or the other. It's hard to do all creative and then also do all. That's the thing I ran into with the big three, even like the pilot stuff or shoot stuff. It's like, you're trying to do your own part, you be a character and like creatively contribute, but you can't then also, I got to get a sound guy. I got to let's edit that. Then you're doing everything, and it makes it kind of just some element's going to suffer. We need another TomB. I'll do another TomB week. Tonight, Carl Nelson will be TomB's job. All right, Perry. Tonight's guest host is Soviet Goat. Goodbye. That's the thing with Perry. It's just, if it was just Perry doing the stream, just sitting there reacting to, and let's say, and you got to also do the rhythm of comments. You got to, I pause. I don't know many other content creators or streamers that rely on like tip comments that, they just let them play. And you can set it to like, they're going to play every 2 minutes. But I pause and play each one to give them their breathing time. And sometimes I'll replay them if I don't like the way he responded the first time. I'm very particular about people getting their money's worth with engagement, which is why I'll go out of my way to make sure he knows certain things. Again, teaching that to somebody else, not only, I have a long-standing relationship with Perry that other people don't have, so that's part of the gig too. Am I in fear that every stream Perry will say something and violate Twitch rules? No, I'm not. We've had problems with Twitch before, where Twitch will suspend us for whatever, and they'll always be reversed. We have no marks on our record. It'll always be BS. We used to have this guy at Twitch that would really help us out because he was a fan, but I don't know if that guy's there anymore. But no, I don't really care. No, I mean, look, I don't want Perry to say certain things, of course, but he's been pretty good. I think PCL has been really, one thing I'm proud of is PCL. We paint within the lines of what's acceptable on these other platforms. He might go overboard here and there, but it's never anything. So no, I'm not worried about it. We still have YouTube, and honestly, like I said earlier, my main goal is to get Perry on PCL on its own platform. Like, you go to Perry Caravello Live, and that's where you get to stream and stuff like that. That would be to not have to worry about these other services and their little, their rules and their, what you can say, what you can't say, whatever. Although it's not really a problem, to be honest. Like, it's certainly not a problem for me. We're not political. We don't. I mean, Perry's a wild card sometimes, but he's been pretty good. TomB, what do I think about this idea? We have money. We have a money counter on the screen that adds up the money that Perry rejects in the challenges. Then at the end of the stream, Perry can see how much money he could have made. I don't think it would make a difference to him. He wouldn't, because again, when he gets in that mode, He's not going to care. You know, it's like, oh, Perry, you turned down $1,200, let's say. I'm just making that up. I don't care. I don't care. Fuck. You know, he I'll tell you where that would come in handy. The day after the stream, where he's logical Perry again. He's like, oh, my God, I turned down that much? Oh, shit. Oops. You know, that's when he would say. But, yeah, if you, like, you know, you'd have to build something like that. It would have to be like an app or something that integrate. I would integrate it. You know, try it out. Yeah. Did I ever watch the Riley Martin show for Stern? Some on YouTube were great. I never watched it. No, I know he had the series show, and I tuned in a couple of times. I found him interesting. I haven't thought about him in a long time. You are the Laurel and Hardy of the new millennium. That's a great compliment. Thank you. Tom is the Vince McMahon of PCL. Okay, you guys are being too much now. That's a great compliment because Vince McMahon is a straight up genius. Although, you know, I do equate PCL to like the business of wrestling. Frank's got a roll. You don't know how I do it, but keep it up. Have a pot of bullet. I'm looking to get back into bulletproof coffee. I'm too lazy to actually order the ingredients, but I'm looking to get back into it. Not the way Perry does it, but like, you know, I did lose a lot of weight on bulletproof coffee, and I don't know if it was just other things I'm doing and bulletproof had no play in that, but the OCD in me feels like I need that component. Perry, only Scarlett or Gina can replace TomB. Maybe Margot. There's no way Seinfeld is allowed. Show's over. Yeah. I don't know. I really would like to get a guest host at some point. You know, somebody would have to shadow me, or, you know, like I'd have to share my screen with somebody and just like watch exactly, and also how I interact with Perry in his earpiece, which is not a lot. Especially on media share, I'll just like be silent for a while. But there's times where he does, you know, Perry, don't do this, or Perry, ooh, be careful, this is coming up, or don't shut this off, or please sit, but you know, whatever. Sometimes it's not please sit that down. Sometimes it's like, sit down, you baboon. Like baboon's my kind of new word because I don't like to call him harsh words. Like the other day on Friday, he said something that was so weird. I said to him, like, he was in the kitchen screaming at me. And I said, give me a break, sit down. And that was just for him. Like, I wasn't on mic. I was like, give me a break, sit down. And then he goes, guinea fuck? Like, he thought I called him a guinea fuck. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, just shut up and get back here. You know, he hears things that are like nothing related to what I say sometimes. Do you ever wonder what would happen if Kenny or Amy watched these videos? What a rabbit hole there. Kenny's seen it, I think, but Amy, Amy would be complimented that she's called hot. That's my guess. I've been working on a generic streaming tracking platform that could include things like offers rejected, but it requires manual input, and that sucks. Yeah, see, that's also a lot of work, and I'm doing so many other things that it's that would be hard to keep tabs on. Somebody else, like, you know what? If somebody else wants to do that, like make that your mission, like I'm gonna like somebody watching, like Soviet Goat or somebody like that, say, oh, I'm gonna keep tabs on everything that Perry turned down, and then like you give it to me, and I can mention it on the air. Okay, Perry, by the way, the stream's over, and you turned down X amount of dollars. That would be a good way to do it. Like, but somebody else would have to do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep track of it. But yeah. One of my favorite parts of stream is when you keep your pimp hand strong, Perry. Well, Perry needs that pimp hand sometimes. You know, it's just... It's a hard balance, and tonight was hard. No lie. Looks like it's time to call him a guinea fuck. Well, I don't talk like that. Like, I'm not gonna call him a guinea. You know, there's so many other things I could call him. I'm not gonna, you know, because he gets into me like, you Mick. He'll call me like a Mick F sometimes, like just randomly on the phone. You drunken Mick, you know. I'm not known for being a drunk. Okay, so if you want to do that on Friday, be my guest. You know, like let's do that. Like maybe, and I don't know, like I don't even know if Friday's the day to do that, because Fridays are a different vibe. Like I don't even like doing crowdsources or anything like that on Friday. I just want Fridays to kind of roll. I want Fridays to be a 2 to 3 hour stream, really, ideally. They've been going a little over lately, but I really want it to be 3 hours maximum, and you know, blend it in, go do some mail. And that's the thing about mailbag streams, is that I never really liked when they were like prime time, like at night when they were long, is you kind of live or die by the mailbag, and it's luck of the draw. And sometimes you get great mailbags and they're really entertaining, and sometimes, you know, between Perry taking forever to open the packages, I'm not knocking anybody that sends in mailbag, by the way, but there's just some mailbags are better than others, and sometimes you just get bad luck in like what he opens in a row, where it's like, it's a kind of the same thing back to back. Yeah, next Monday would be good. Do it next Monday. Thank you. Remind me, because I'm not going to remember. Mention it to Jim, and I'll mention it. But that'd be a cool thing. Like that, yeah. Like we'll try that out Monday. Here's all the things you turned down, and we'll see how Perry reacts. But it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, the mailbag can go one way or the other, and it's like, okay. You know, I like to be honest with you, I really hated Friday. Like this past Friday, I personally hated it. I thought I was terrible because I was a little irritable, and I don't like being, and it's, I just can't snap out of it sometimes. Like I hate being irritable on the air with Perry, and because it's just a bad look, but you can't help it. It's just human nature. Like there's times where he's just gonna really annoy me, and he was really annoying on Friday, in a different way than he was annoying tonight. But I didn't like him. I didn't like anything about it, really. So yeah, and it was a lot of reading on Friday. That was the main thing. It was just a lot, just luck of the draw. It was just a lot of like him reading, which is just diabolical. You can deal with one of them on a mail stream, but like when you get one after the other, it's just like, and it's not the person's fault who's sending it in. It's not at all. It's on Perry. There are times where he has his hand on the mouse and is about to shut down the stream. Then he gets this deranged look in his eyes and moves his hand. What do you say to him? That's a great question. It depends. Excuse me. I get a really bad dry throat. Probably from talking for 13 hours. I usually say, get your hands off my mouse. And I've said that on the air too. But I'm like, don't you do it, Perry. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Like that's usually, because I only have like quick seconds to get in there before, because like one click, like you see how quick that can happen. He shut down the stream by accident a number of times. So I'm trying to think I'm trying to put myself in that moment. I'll just be like, Perry, don't do it, or I'll tell him sometimes, because it's true. I'll like, you know, like when he was doing that movie, like there was a producer watching. Like the producer of the movie was watching the stream and he was acting like a complete baboon. Perry, the producer's watching. I don't care who's watching. Fuck you. God damn. So I'll say stuff like that sometimes, or sometimes I'll yell at him and I'll be like, Perry, you don't do it. I've been working my ass off, you know. And I have thrown in the mother thing too, like just once or twice, you know, Perry, I just buried my mother. Don't you do this. And then he'll like get that he'll get that like crazy look, and you know I'm saying something to him in his ear. And then he'll dial down. It's hard though. Tonight was really hard. There was so many of those. And sometimes I don't say anything. Sometimes I really just don't say anything. I let it play out because I know he'll catch himself eventually. Or like when he darts away into the kitchen and he's raging. In the past, I would just be like, Perry, get back here. Get back here, you mother effer, you C word. I'll lay into him like really hard. Like, you know, I'm not really angry at him, but I'm trying to, like, you know, really. Sometimes you gotta he can't hear you. He's screaming so much, you got to scream over him. And he was like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" Now I also record myself too. Like I have a separate line recording myself, and you know I'm so anal about it that I'll sometimes go back into the edit and I'll put what I was saying into the stream, just so, because I hate people being confused. Oh, he's clearly talking back to me, and I'm not on mic, so I'll put that back in. You know what I mean? So it makes sense when somebody's watching it back. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, various little techniques. Not all of them work. Once in a while I'll say something like I'll use the fake girl thing, and this is the only instance where I'll buy into it, just to get him in line. Gina's watching. Gina's not going to come over. Gina's watching. Gina's watching. Or I'll say, Scarlett's very upset. She doesn't want to see, and then he'll catch himself. Like, got to throw really quick things in there. Like, really quick things just to get him back. Anything to get him to come back to the chair. Less of that. Tonight he was really bad. Tonight he needed a little bit more of that. I know. Somebody said, so nobody's more annoyed than his darting than me. It does kill the flow. And it is hard to watch. And nobody is more aware of that than I am. And I really try to even talk to him like on our off time. Perry, you can't just dart away like that. You can't just dart away like that. Does he ever bring the stream to me besides Gina? Like, does he ever bring up something he enjoyed? Yeah, no, he does. He does. You know what I liked? I liked that gentleman yesterday that wrote in the comment that he was a fan. Like, he will. He never watches the stream, and he only retains. But yeah, you know what I liked? The quarter pounder with no pickles. That was respectful. I like that. Yeah, he will bring up stuff like that. Or honestly, he'll just check he'll see his Venmo that day, and like his Venmo, because he accepted offer, is like, you know what? I'm not going to be a prick. I looked at my Venmo, and it was pretty good. I could now go out and take care of it. Like he did the stupidest thing. He did the stupidest thing in January, where we weren't streaming in January. Let's count New Year's Day, which was a carryover from New Year's Eve, and he had to get some car maintenance, and that's another thing too. That car is not long for the world. He's gonna need a new car soon, so that's another thing that's his savings for, is to get a new car at some point. But anyway, so there was something wrong with his car. He needed maintenance. It was a ton of money, and he just spent it without thinking. And he does it with his checking account, which like anybody's checking account. You have a checking account, you have a savings account. And he bought the most expensive. He needed new tires, like the I don't know. He got it brought to the mechanic. In addition to whatever else, I don't know. There was something. I don't know. My brain's a little Swiss cheese right now, so I don't remember exactly what was wrong with the car, but it was expensive. And then on top of that, the mechanic told him he needed new tires. So of course, Perry being Perry, he goes for the most expensive premium tires that's meant for like a luxury car on a 2000 Toyota Corolla. And the tires are so premium, he doesn't need snow tires for them. Like the guy said, he says, I want tires that can get me to the snow. So whatever, like all 4 tires, oh God, I'm going to get this wrong, but it was something like, it was over $2,000 just for tires. Over $2,000, maybe more, maybe a lot more. I can look it up, but I don't have it in front of me. But he got like talked into like the premium of premium tires on a 2000 Toyota Corolla, and it crashed his, like he didn't have the money to cover it in his checking account, and then he had to pull it from his savings account, which is a big no. Like me and his cousin are very anti him going into his savings account. So anyway, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Does Perry realize that Windy City Heat's a big practical joke? He does, like anything else. Parts of it, yes, but the big picture, no. And it depends on the day. He can talk about it one way one day and one day another. Tires on a 2000 Corolla should be like $380. Yeah, exactly. But tell that to Perry. So it's just what are you gonna do? Yeah, it was like it could have been approaching $3. I don't think it was more than $3,000, but it was between $2,000 and $3,000 for 4 tires on a 2000 Corolla. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tires for my truck weren't that much. I know. Hold on, guys. Hold on one quick second. I got to check on one thing. Yeah, just what I thought. Teddy's up, so I gotta get going and get into parent stuff and take care of the kid and get him dressed and fed and walk him to the bus. I can hear him rumbling. I bought my Jeep for $4,000. Yeah, exactly. That's normal people. Yeah, and I by the way, I can't even afford a new car. Or a used car. I'm driving my mom's car that I had to take away from her because she couldn't drive. So, yeah. Hey Tom, he's gonna have a heart attack. Getting wound up like this. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know, and he's in control of that. You know how he can't react like that. Something. You know I'm aware of that. Like I don't want that. I don't want him to have a heart problem because he's going through crazy. But this is what earns him money. He needs to get like heart pills or something. Do you think that we as a viewer need to be more nice from time to time to remove some amount of darting? You know what? Yeah, I do. The nice ones. You know, there's maybe one in any given stream, like on a Monday stream. Yeah, it is nice. It that really helps, honestly, because obviously most people are here because they love Perry. So it would be nice to have that. You know, to get like every now and again. Hey Perry, we love you. We whatever. Hey, thank you. You're entertaining me. You got me through some hard times. You got me through some tough stuff. So. That would be cool. That would be cool. No, is it a McDonald's delivery? No, I didn't get up for a McDonald's delivery. Can you imagine? Anyway, I should say good night or good morning or good afternoon to some people. Make up the $3K. I know that $3K. That money he spent on those tires drives me crazy because I know how hard that I worked, that Jim worked, to get him that money in his account to cover him throughout the month, and then he just blows it on these premium tires. I mean, look, that's Perry being Perry. Perry gonna Perry, right? And it just drives me friggin' crazy. You know, meanwhile, it's like I'm doing all the stuff that I'm doing, you know. It just drives me freaking crazy. Anyway, is it possible to create some nice TTS comments just to play them? Yeah, no, not really. I mean, I could do that. I mean, I do enough things. I can't like start like, oh, take a break and like, oh, let me donate to the stream myself just to give them nice comments. No, I would hope other people could do that. We did have a Twilight Zone stream, positive comments. Perry's birthday stream 2 years ago, like, you know, not this last one, but the one before that. We did make a thing to have like, okay, let's be nice to Perry for one night. And some people hated that. Some people left PCL for that to never return. They couldn't stand it. They couldn't stand it. Yeah, and it's like whatever. You know what? You can't be nice to the guy for one day out of the year. Go fuck yourself. Seriously, go fuck yourself. I don't think it's that bad. Once in a while, but that's a stream, you know. He'll say to me sometimes, the stream is gonna have some changes. Okay, I am tired of yelling. I am tired of losing my mind. This is gonna be a respectful stream. I go, okay. Well, what are you gonna do, Perry? You gonna talk about the weather? I would talk about skateboarding, snowboarding. I would, it's like in his version. Like I always like, it's always funny. It's like when he opens up the stream. Welcome to Perry Caravello Live. It is, and then cut right to the ending. Goodbye, you motherfucking piece of shit. We're done. I'm done with you. Somebody can make an edit of that, like his positive opens, and where he's like all cleaned up, and then cut right to him covered in like shaving cream or something like that, and screaming at all of us. By the way, I hope his fedora is okay. It didn't look too good. I didn't think turning it inside out would really just mess it up like that. I probably wouldn't have accepted that. It does look like I'm going to have to buy him a new fedora, and that kind of sucks. But I did promise that I'd buy him a new fedora. It didn't look like it was doing well. Like the lining just is completely removed, and I didn't like that. Even though it was a good offer, it was like $100, but was his 59th mostly positive? I don't even remember. Every stream should start with a glitter bomb. I know. That was, yeah. Tom, I am a POA for somebody with severe dementia. What is POA? Primary something? And can completely relate to everything you have to help him through. Mad respect for what you go through to keep Perry afloat. Oh, thank you. It's a lot. Or you cannot just wear fedoras and pretend to be an old person. I think Perry without a fedora is terrible. Perry needs. That's like Indiana Jones without his fedora. You need a fedora. Power of attorney. I have power of attorney. TomB, I need to go to bed and I can't leave until you. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I know I'm keeping a lot of people up. I'll end it for you. So, because I can hear Teddy in the other room and he's gonna burst in this door any minute now. How is everybody? I know. I like when he talks back. I like when he talks back to the tip comments, especially if it's a girl that he knew from like high school. Or, where are you now? Are you still married? As if the TTS comment is gonna answer him right back. He does that in Cameos too, I've noticed. He'll be like, I see you like running. Where do you run? Like he'll ask a question as if he's going to get a response. That's cool. My normal day job, what is my normal day job apart from this? I don't talk about it to maintain a little bit of privacy. Yeah, I'll talk about it one day when PCL takes off and PCL can be my main job. I will tell you. But as of right now, I will keep that under the cuff. Only because I don't need a PCL fan contacting my employer. Even though my employer, by the way, my employer knows PCL and everything. It's fine. Okay, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. Good evening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to the lunatics like Soviet Goat who have been here with the whole stretch. I know I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who's been here the whole stretch. This is a long one. Been doing this now 13 plus hours. I'm going to have this up on Patreon tomorrow. Later today. Expect it tonight sometime. And yeah, it'll be good. We'll see you Friday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific. And yeah, I have another call with Perry I got to put up on Patreon about his fake women. But yeah, Tom's obviously a superhero by day. Yeah, superhero with a gut. Yeah, that's another thing too. So because I like when he screams stuff media share, and when it ends, he says thank you. I know, like I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna turn something off that somebody paid for because he's screaming like a lunatic. Michael Wangler, TomB, please do for me what you did for Perry. I've had my fill of Perrys. I can only have room for one. Can I leave this up for a couple hours? No, I'm going to take it down. And if you do want to watch, I hate to say this, but if you want to watch it, I'll tell you what. I'll leave the part 2 up for maybe an hour. But if you want to watch the whole thing, do me a favor and sign up for Patreon. It does help me out. If you want to help me out, I'm not looking for tips or anything, but you know, I do. Perry and I do split Patreon, so it helps me out more than this stream does. Believe you me. I like the Friday streams staying up. I get to watch them. Well, that's cool. And somebody asks, "Oh, will I ever do a daytime after hours on Fridays?" No, never, because they stay up on YouTube. I can't cut it out. So no, I'm never going to do an after hours on a Friday because it stays. You know, because I don't like to me after hours is a separate thing. So when these streams go on YouTube proper, I cut out after hours. You know, and I'll put that up on my channel, like I said. Except on Patreon, I'll leave the whole thing straight through. And if somebody, by the way, if somebody wants to bail out, they can bail out. When Perry, you know, not after hours is not for everybody. I don't think I would listen to after hours if I was a PCL fan. But all right, I love you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for all the encouragement. Thanks for keeping me company, because I really did need to come down from that stream, and I really mean this. It's like we can talk about things all day long, but really the real reason for after hours is for me to kind of detox. I wish I would have made myself a drink, and I didn't. Too late now, but thanks for keeping me company, because I was really. There was parts of tonight where I wanted to lose my mind and shut the computer off myself and never do this again, to be honest with you. This was the hardest PCL I've personally ever had. So thanks for letting me blow off some steam. Thanks for all your really cool questions and being such cool cats and kittens. And hanging out, because it's as important to me as it is to you. Just to hang out and vent. I'm gonna be miserable today, and groggy and tired and probably cranky, but it means a lot that there's enough people that still like there's still like I don't know, I can't even 300 something people hanging on to this, so that's cool, and that means a lot to me. And you know, it's cool. I'm very as Perry would say, it's an honor. So all right, guys, have a good day, and we'll see what happens with Perry's not eating fast food and his Instagram follies, and we'll see what happens. I'm sorry, and by the way, if I spoke too much on the regular stream tonight, I apologize. I realized I was doing it, but I just felt like there was a combination of things, like Perry being annoying and being unruly, and also the software that I used to play the comments was glitching a lot. So if you're hearing like people complain that, oh, I talk too much, whatever, not that I care, I don't. But just to give an explanation, a lot of times where I talk a lot and make small chit chat with Perry, I'm kind of buying time so something resolves itself on the software end. Like when I was doing the Cameo thing and like, you know, talking about like playing the Cameo game, I was kind of just, there was a circle moving that was like stuck. And I was like, when is this thing? So I kept going on and on with the Cameo game. It wasn't because I just loved filling time with Perry. It was just, I was just kind of buying time for that to resolve itself. So I do. I was on mic way more tonight than I wanted to be. Sometimes unintentionally, just directing Perry. But anyway, I feel like I had the balance off tonight. So anyway, all right. I'll talk to you guys. We'll talk to you guys on Friday. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the nice comments. Thanks for all the nice remarks. We love you guys. Even Perry loves you guys. Even if he doesn't show it, he loves you guys. So thanks. PCL for life. We'll see you Friday.